All right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast. This is Vic.
Welcome back.
This is John here.
What's up?
How's everybody doing? John, how are you, man?
Doing good, doing better, man. Luckily, I'm not in the airplane on the way to Germany, although that would have been lucky and unlucky. Was actually almost not going to be here today, but plans changed. Last minute things got canceled. So here I am.
I'm glad you're here, man.
In the flesh.
That would have thrown this whole live Q&A into my lap alone. And I don't know if I want that responsibility today.
It wouldn't have been the first time I recorded from an airport lounge or something like that. So.
No, it wouldn't have. From with hotel lounges, airport lounges. I think where else have we had you?
I was in the military influencer conference upstairs in their big
That's
hall.
right. Yeah.
Across from the stadium downtown Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
No, all kinds of play. I'm ready to go. Whenever we're ready, we're ready. I got my camera. I got my mic. We're good. Do this.
Do it. But yeah, man, today is, I was thinking about a topic for folks, something to keep everybody engaged. Let's talk together, and came across this one. Hey, live Q&A, and as you see it on the, let me see the thumbnail here, transition, military to civilian transition, retirement and money. Though we can't give you like financial advice, we can tell you what potentially we did or what we've talked to people about. VA benefits. I love VA benefits. I read about this stuff for fun. Does that make me weird? No. And what's the other one that I put on there? Civilian life. That's always a fun one. What is life like after the military? And how can we make it a little bit better, 1% better every day? Because sometimes it has its ups and downs. And I'll tell you what, John, this week was an up and down week, or I guess it started down and up, right? Down and up week. And I shared it in one of my other live streams. Had a kind of a rough week at it. And this was all kind of internal, like going through my own mind, in my head. And I thought, you know what? I got to stop playing the victim here. And let's just move forward with what I've got, with what I know. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote down everything that was going on in my mind. And I said, let's get things done. Because I have a family. I'm a father, and I need to be that person, right, in their life. I can't be a freaking mess. So I got to hold it all together. So as we say, in the Marine Corps, adapt and overcome. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. So that's exactly what I did. Then it started going up, and then I got a text from a friend saying, "Hey, look, I'm getting promoted, and to Chief Warrant Officer 4. Can you make it to my promotion at Camp Pendleton?" I said, "Hell yeah, man, I'll be there." Great friend, known this guy for many years. We were Chief Warrant Officer 3s together. Finally he pinned on Chief Officer 4 over at 1 Meth. If anybody's familiar with Camp Pendleton, it's over at the Del Mar area, right in front of all the water there. They have, I think, 3rd Tracks is out there, amphibious assault battalions and all that stuff. Very nice place, and a lot of stuff gets done out there. So was able to go see him. Then randomly, as I'm sitting down talking to this dude next to me, he's like, "Hey, man, you look familiar." I'm like, "Oh, shit, okay." He's like, "Do you do like a military thing?" And I'm like online? I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do. So I give him a card, and he's like, "Oh shit, man, this is cool. Whatever." We got to talking. He's about to retire as well. Master Sergeant, Marine Master Sergeant, I think. And then going into the Marine Corps Exchange, I saw some dude that, we connect with these people on LinkedIn and stuff and Facebook, and we don't really know them, but we just like see their posts and stuff. I happened to be walking in, and this dude looked familiar. And I'm like, And I pointed at him, and then he pointed at me, and we're like, just kind of stood there. And so sure enough, it was this guy, Dave, that I knew from LinkedIn, and also the Green Logbook, who, he jumps on and talks in the comments every so often. So was able to meet him and his wife, cool folks. I think he's a retired lieutenant colonel. She's a retired major. They live in Iowa or something. And they just happened to be there at the MCX as I was going over there to pick up a new mug. So that's the new mug right there. But yeah, small world, man. Small world, and things happen for a reason. And that kind of perked me up a little bit. Like, man, everybody is doing their own thing. My man is getting promoted over here. These folks are, they came into my life for a reason. He was talking nonstop about, the military retirement podcast and the green logbook. I'm like, all right, man, we got to double down on this thing, man. I can't wait for Sunday live stream so we can freaking talk about this stuff. It was great, man. Great week.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to get that kind of feedback. It really is. I don't get those serendipitous moments as much over here. People don't recognize me out in town because everybody's Italian. So, but I do have a lot of conversations on the base, and a lot of people that I let know, like, yeah, we're doing this thing, and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, man, you guys need to keep this up. Like, whatever it is you're doing, just keep it up. Just keep doing it.
it's
Like,
fun.
it may be slow, it may be taking time, it may be a trudge, but eventually you're going to get to the point where you break velocity, and it's going to be something big. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like that. That's good, encouraging advice, and like to keep the momentum going. So that's why we keep coming here on Sundays with guests, without guests. We don't care. Like, we're here for the community. That's what we built this on.
Oh yeah.
We built it to take care of the veterans, to help them get across the finish line and get to salvation land known as civilian life. Maybe salvation land, maybe it's hell. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, we're here to build a community, and that's what it's all about. And that's why we're here. We show up, and if it's 50 people, if it's 500 people, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. I love that, man. It's all about the community. I love it. So real quick, going to the comments, we got Jason Beer. What's going on? It says, "What's up, you all? We all are good." Let me see what's going on. We'll be live. Oh shit, I'm reading my own freaking comment. Never mind.
From the green logbook,
the Navy cop. Yeah, right. Navy cop. What's going on? Morning, gents. Yep. 66T Love. Blessed Sunday, TGLB family. Yeah, absolutely. Blessed Sunday. Brian Hahn. That's a good buddy of mine. Brian Hahn. Morning, everyone. Lives not too far away. We meet up every so often for lunch, sometimes breakfast and some coffee. Good dude. Retired gunny. Awesome guy. Also using VRNE, by the way. My man is using VRNE, or he will be. So looking forward to it. Going to one of the top schools in San Diego, which is amazing. Welcome Black 2785. He's got a question for us. Is it possible to retire as an E7 and not work for the first 6 months, or is it a struggle? I would love to catch up on years of backlogs of things that I've missed. It's a great question, man. Great question. You want to take this one, John? Or
I want to dive into it
absolutely.
real quick. Yes, it is. It's possible to retire as whatever your rank is, actually. And I think, and again, we're not here to give financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We have a guy that does that. His name is Josh from MVMT Financial. He's the guy to talk to if you need to get pure financial advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about. That's the guy. But yes, you can retire as an E7 and take the first 6 months off. Is it a struggle? It depends. And it depends why. Because if you're a year out, 2 years out, I don't know how long you are out, and you can let us know in the comments. Black 2785, just let us know in the comments any details if you want to get into it. But the ultimate answer is yes, you can. The precursor to that answer is you need to do your homework, and you need to prepare for that time when that time comes. If you want to take off the first 6 months, you have to prepare yourself for that, whether that's stacking up money, figuring out where your TSP is at and moving stuff around. If you've got other investments, if you've got other stuff that you can liquidate and downsize a little bit, because what you're going to end up doing is probably, if you don't want to go straight to work, you're going to have to downsize your budget a little bit. You're going to have to figure out what a budget looks like without all the extra perks of healthcare and dental and housing allowance and like all those things that you might get as a military service member. You can just take and delete all of those immediately. You will be covered with healthcare once you retire with TRICARE. If you're staying in the States, you should be good to go. If you're moving overseas, you will need a supplemental health care to be able to offset some of the stuff or going off post to do things. But ultimately, yes, you can. And the best way to do that is to, again, figure out your finances and get your debt down to zero. Downsize your finances, peel back, back your life up a little bit as far as spending and as far as what you spending within your needs, and then taking it from there. And you can. Again, we both retired as CW3s. That's a little bit more money. But I did the first 3 years without a job. First 3 years out the gate, and I'm not 100% VA rated either. So there's that. At the time, I was 10% VA rated. So barely scratching the surface of VA benefits and just a retiree check. And I was able to live fairly comfortably for the first 3 years. And that was a matter of peeling back my finances and slowing down on spending and reorganizing my life to understand that there's a whole lot of extra money that I would get being in active duty, and that I needed to live off a certain amount of money and pay bills and get everything down to zero. That would be my first step, looking in that direction. And you can absolutely do that. You can do it for years if you wanted to.
I love that, man. Vic? Yeah. I'm on the same boat as you, man. In Black 2785, I would say, what kind of lifestyle you're looking for after you leave the service. So right now, you mentioned you're at 17 years, which gives you a good amount of time to either get out of debt or stack some cash for your life afterwards. And it's a lot of lifestyle dependency. Where are you going to live? Are you going to live somewhere high cost? Are you looking to go to San Francisco? It's like the highest, or New York City, the highest cost in the nation? Or are you looking to go, I don't know, what's something that's less expensive than that, like Dallas, Texas, or surrounding areas around Texas, Alabama, some of these like lower cost of living places aside from like the coasts. So you have to really look at that, like how much you're going to spend on mortgage if you're already paying mortgage or rent or whatever. Stack some cash, look at your location. Are you looking to stay in the same level of lifestyle that you're at? Are you willing to back it up a little bit? So I think I had to do the same thing. As I retired, we stayed here in San Diego. It was my final duty station. I decided, we liked it here. So I really had to do some analyzing here. Like, okay, if we want to stay up to speed with our current lifestyle, I'm probably going to have to get a job after. I was still waiting on my VA disability stuff to come through. I was working off of retirement check. Shit, I was on terminal leave when I got my job. So I was completely the opposite from John. John, you took 3 years off.
Yep.
I straight up went to work while I was on terminal leave. I got a contractor gig. And because I just didn't know. I was like, I was stressing out. I got to figure out a way to provide for my family. In hindsight, I was perfectly set up to take a year or even 2 if I wanted to off of work completely. I will tell you that if you did that, you'd probably get bored. If you're anything like me. Yeah. I can't sit at the beach all day, man. So you would probably get bored. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, you can retire as an E7 and not work for 6 months. I know many E7s who have retired and have taken some time off because they have made good decisions in their life to allow them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And I'll throw 2 more things on there. Actually, the very, if you go back in the catalog, it may be still up. I think we might have took it down, maybe still up. The very first person that I ever interviewed was one of my best friends, retired as an E7 from the Army, right around the same time that I retired out of the Army. And he lives in New York City, and New York City is super expensive, right? So I would say, yeah, location is for sure going to be a factor. When you get to that time, when you get to that point where you're getting ready to retire, that last year, make sure you do your BDD and get that stuff done. Find a VSO, whether it's somebody who's on the base, somebody who's affiliated directly with the VA, or somebody else. DAV is a good option. Vic used DAV when he got out. get your BDD process done, get it put in, make sure you go to the doc and check in on all the things that are bothering you, everything that you think is going to be something potentially harmful or something that you've put off not going to the doc to see, get it documented, do your BDD process. Because if you get all that done and you've got everything, got all your ducks in order, and you get rated at say 100% or even 90%, that's going to put you in a completely different financial situation than you would if you just had your retirement check. That's going to basically double what your retirement check is, maybe a little bit more than that. So that, and then the other thing I'll say real quick is just mindset, man. It's all about getting yourself mentally prepared for getting out of the military. You're at the T-3 year mark, and you've got plenty of time to sit down and start journaling, start writing, if you can do that. If it's something that interests you, take time off during the day to set aside 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to figure out some kind of meditation. It doesn't have to be meditation specifically, but it can be something that's meditative. So if you like doing drawing, if you like playing music, if you enjoy coding, if you enjoy taking walks with the dog, those kind of things, where you put your phone down and you actually focus on something else that's creative outlet or some kind of other outlet like that, where you can just focus your time, like get your mind prepared and start thinking about what was like, who wrote, this is a great question that I've pulled out of a book lately that I've been reading. And I love this question that this guy asks himself every time he comes across something that's quote unquote impossible or something that's set in stone and the rules have been written. He asks the question and basically says, who wrote the rule book that XYZ has to be this way, right? Or that this thing has to be done a certain way. So I would say, sit down, think about who wrote the rule book on why you can't live currently at your 17-year mark as if you were already retired. And I think that will get you, that kind of mental exercise will get you prepared for that day when you get your DD-214 and you go marching out of the personnel office and back to your car, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable. Your PTSD won't flare up and you'll be in a better position.
I love that, man. Who said that that quote you just mentioned?
Yeah, it's a guy named Danny Meyer. So I was reading one other book, Running Down a Dream. I think we might have talked about it, or I might have mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
Bill Gurley is the author of that book, and he listed a bunch of books that were kind of in line with his philosophy about figuring out your goals for your dreams and what you want to do and going after it, no matter what your age is. It was more geared towards like 20, 25-year-olds, but it applies to everybody. And he had mentioned Danny Meyer, who is a restaurateur in New York City, originally from St. Louis. He built a couple famous restaurants. He's the only restaurateur to have restaurants in the MoMA Museum in New York City right now. If you've ever heard of a small place called the Shake Shack, he's the guy that invented the Shake Shack based off of hamburger stands and custard joints in St. Louis and around St. Louis area. He took that idea and turned it into a Shake Shack. So, interesting.
So
interesting
Danny Meyer's the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second real quick. Let me close my blinds here. It's starting to blind me.
Blinded.
Blinded by the light. Something like a douche. All right.
Never know the lyrics.
I don't even know what they say. So, where was I? I was going to say something and I completely forgot. Because the damn song you just made me see the ADHD, man. That's a real thing.
Shiny squirrels.
Shiny squirrels, dude. Yeah, that's a real thing, man. That's a big reason why I carry these green logbooks with me everywhere, or any logbook for that matter. I gotta write this stuff down. If I don't, this stuff just
gone,
disappears from the mind.
Vaporized.
Yeah, real quick, just go to the comments here. All Black 2785, man, you're definitely welcome, buddy. Anytime. If you have any other questions, shoot it our way, dude. We'll give you feedback on what we've heard. or personal feedback from what we've done. We both have heard a ton of stories from probably, hundreds of veterans at this point.
Yeah.
So, or military to civilian transition folks and veterans themselves. So we know what's happening. We're kind of in that world. Brian Hahn says a big factor to determine if you can live on your retirement pay is if your spouse is working. Very good. My wife has a good job, so I have less pressure to get a job. Yes.
Sugar mama.
Yeah, dual income. Yeah, sugar mama, right? Dual income is great. Yes, I will tell you that. I am in the same boat. Like I can do what I want. And this is what I remember. This is what I was going to bring up is for the longest time, stressing out over what I'm going to do next. I'm thinking like, dude, I can literally do whatever the hell I want to do now. Like I can go out and do whatever the hell. And if you do something, I have it written here on my wall. Take what the military made you good at and get so good that civilian employees can't ignore you. Don't know why I put that up there, or don't know when I put that up there, but it's been up there for a minute. All the leadership stuff, all the technical stuff that you've learned, get good at that stuff. Civilian employees cannot ignore you. So with that, I started taking that and then forming it into something I really want to do. Entrepreneurship, building a little business here. And, it kind of opened my eyes like, shit, people will pay for convenience. They'll pay for just damn near just about everything. So I can explore that while my wife has the job that she loves. And it really does, like Brian Hahn mentioned, take a lot of pressure off you. You can find out what you really want to do. And real quick, good morning to you as well. Homebody, Miss Katie, 3097. Great to have you. Let me see here. Russell Dixon, R1F. Nobody safer than a man holding U.S. savings bonds. All right. I don't know. I wish I could have an answer to that, man. Yeah, I don't know about Trenton Callahan from our Facebook side. Yeah, I love the canteen. Oh man, I appreciate it, man. I was at the Marine Corps Exchange. Like I said, I ran into that retired lieutenant colonel there from LinkedIn, and I happened to be just. I've been there so many times on Camp Pendleton, and I'm like, man, I always just drive by the MCX because you want to bypass traffic. It's a lot of traffic with folks getting off that base. It's a huge base. So this time around, I was like, you know what? I don't care about the traffic. Let me stop by and let me get some mugs. So for the show, right? So I grabbed this canteen cup mug. Pretty good little piece of gear there.
Is that a metal one or is that ceramic?
This is ceramic. I am going to pull. Yeah, I do have my other canteen cup, the metal one that you hold, and it folds inside the little cover. I got to pull it out of the storage, man. But I really got to clean that thing too. That who knows who's had that.
No, so I don't know where that cup's been.
No, hell no, man. It gets handed down from generation to generation. It's got like all these people's names crossed out on it. But the thing is, it's gear adrift, right? There's a saying in the Marine Corps and the Navy, gear adrift is a gift. So when you find gear, it comes across your path, it's a gift. Acquire that stuff. Hold on to it. So gear adrift is a gift. So I appreciate it, Trenton Callahan there. 397 the Fresco too. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like there should be a vowel somewhere in there. The Fresco. All right. All good. Good morning. Did you do the skill bridge? That's a great question. I can get into that. May I? Should I?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
I did not do the skill bridge. I lost that opportunity because I was working too hard at the end.
Okay, good. So the skill bridge, yes, I signed up for a skill bridge with it was a fabrication company, manufacturing company, right? I was going to work on their design side. And I got approved for it, all that good stuff. Signed up for SkillBridge, of course. So I know the process. Back when I don't know if they narrowed the time frame now. Back when I signed up for it, it was you could do it up to 6 months, right? I only needed 3 months because I just that's what I felt comfortable with, and that's what was approved. So um, up, it was all good. I went and talked to the owner of the company, and we met, and we hit it off just right. Told him what my what he told me what his expectations are. I told him what I can provide, what I'm willing to learn, and I just loved everything about it. Right? You essentially design. I was designing signs for big like stadiums and stuff like that, right? Like, the Amway Center or whatever, you just design these signs for like marathons when there's races, things like that. And it was exciting. And I was supposed to start on a certain day. And I was emailing. I was like, hey, looking forward to starting. Is there anything else I need? And I essentially got ghosted. I called, um, spoke to whoever the lady, the assistant was, or whoever it was. I picked up the phone, asking to speak to the guy that I spoke with, that I met with, and he's in meetings, and he never called back. And the day before my skill bridge was supposed to start, I'm like, look, I don't know, like I haven't been able to get a hold of you for like 2 weeks. Is this still going? Like, should I show up tomorrow? Ghosted, nothing. So I just didn't go. I'm like, well, it's been 2 weeks. Like I can't get a hold of the guy. I'm not going to make the drive all the way out there if I don't, if I'm not going to, he's not going to give me the time of day or anything. So this dude decides to, the day after I didn't show up, he calls me back. Like he calls my phone and says, hey, you didn't show up. So I'm going to have to report this to the command. And I'm like, okay, do what you got to do, dog. Because I got all the emails. I got all the shit saying that I'm trying to get a hold of you, and you completely ghosted me. So unfortunately, I was looking forward to this, but it didn't work out. In the end, it didn't work out. I went and talked to the XO about it and explained. I'm like, hey, I don't care that this guy's going to contact you, whatever. Just let me tell you what happened exactly, just so you guys, just so you guys are informed. Because I know the CO signed off on my crap. So that was my SkillBridge story. I got ghosted, man. It's not the same for everybody. Sometimes SkillBridge, you get in with good companies. There are companies out there. I don't recall the name of them, but they actually make you pay to get into their SkillBridge. Don't do that crap. It's supposed to. I'm coming across the name now. I'm not going to call them out here on the live stream, but they make you pay to get in there. I don't know if they changed it. I know it was like that at least last year when I heard people trying to get into it. So you got to buy some kind of a course in order to go through it, which shouldn't be that way, but there are some legit ones out there. If you're looking to get into the trades, if you're looking to get into different cohorts, SkillBridge is an amazing, amazing thing.
Damn, I was ready to put some people on blast too. No, that's cool. That's not,
well, you know what? I would put them out there, but it's like one of 3 of the companies, and I'm like, I don't want to put the wrong one out there. So I'm like, which one is it? I'd have to do the research first.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I was just kidding. Yeah. We don't put people in corners.
No, I don't want to put somebody on blast like that, man. Chris Goose, revved up like a deuce. Okay, so it's not like a douche. Okay, I got you. All these years, I've been saying the wrong thing. And I say it proudly too. I'm at like the bar. Like nobody corrects me.
Since high school.
Everybody, every Navy cop is on my back too, man. Revved up. Comparing energized to accelerating a 32 Ford Hot Rod Deuce Coupe. Had to look it up. Well, okay, the lyrics confused me. Back to the podcast. Yeah, I love that. Back to the show. And let's bring it back to center here. Center mass. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Charles Zimmerman. Hey, good to have you, buddy. Back in my day, My lead E6 retired after 16 years in the Navy, early retirement. Does the military still do 16 early retire? So that
Don't
I think that's
think it
called Terra, right?
It was
Terra?
called Terra.
Yeah.
Think it doesn't apply anymore because I think I looked at it when I was sitting at the 16, 17-year mark.
I had a friend who got out at 15 years. And at the time, like he was just so done with the Marine Corps. And he got out at 15 years. And when they offered the Terra, but then I looked at it, I think he got like 30% or something retirement. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's worth it, man. Just push through another 5 years. So I don't know that Terra, they open it up sometimes.
Yeah.
At least I know in the Marine Corps when there's there's too many people in the service and need to like slim it down a little bit. So they'll open up the Terra sometimes.
Yeah, they had it open again. They closed it in 2018, then they opened it back up until December 31st, 2025. So yeah, I think it goes by, needs of the military, what they need, and if they need to do that, and if they need to reduce the force. Yeah, I don't think it's a thing right now though.
Yeah, no, when they have to reduce the force, that's exactly what it was. It was I think this guy retired in 2011, 2012, and that's when they had the Terra open at that time, and he took it with a quickness. I mean, I was a staff sergeant at the time, so I'm like, I had like 10 years in, and I couldn't do anything at that point.
Yep.
So to answer your question, Charlton Zimmerman, they open it up sometimes when there's a need to reduce the force. Right now, I don't think there's a need. If anything, they need to build up the force right now. I don't know that many people are wanting to join. I don't know.
They're letting people back in right now, right? The ones who were kicked out for the COVID vaccine thing.
That's right. I saw that.
They opened it back up and they said, look, we're opening our arms. We're letting you back in. If you want to come back in, please come back.
Man, deuces, dude. Get out of here. Deuces.
Wrapped up like a deuce.
Wrapped up like a douche, dude. Get out of here. No, but I did see, there was an email that was sent out by the Assistant Secretary of War. Did you see that? Did you see the email? I made a video on it, like a short video.
It came across my inbox, yes.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so you saw exactly right. They were looking for volunteers from workers under this Department of War, Department of Defense. I don't even know. I mean, choose your journey, I suppose. Department of War, the Assistant DOW sent it out. Folks employed under the DOW, Department of War, are asked if they want to volunteer their time to assist in the Department of Homeland Security's mission, partly because I don't know if they're still under the government shutdown, but the Department of Homeland Security has been under a government shutdown for a little while now. I mean, we've seen it. I've seen it on the news. The TSA workers are calling out sick. Some of them are, quitting. They're not going to want to work for free. Nobody wants to work for free. So they're asking folks to volunteer their time. And the way they worded it was so funny. It's like, do you want the pride of knowing that you did something for your country? Volunteer your time to support the DHS mission or something to that effect. And I was just going through the Reddit and the veterans Reddit. And people are like, I've never deleted an email so fast. They're like, deuces, dude, deuces. So no, it's like these, who wants to work for free and load your plate essentially, right? Because you're still doing your job. You can't not do your job. And then you take on this DHS mission and you have to apply for it too. Like, who's applying to volunteer to work for free? They said 900 people.
Yeah.
How many federal employees do we have? Like 700,000?
A lot.
Something like I don't. That's like 0.01 of the percentage. Like, they made it sound like a lot, but it's like nothing. Oh man. So you're gonna do it?
No, it's only open to GS employees. I'm not a GS.
Okay. You dodged that bullet, man.
Approximately 2.68 million people as of February 2026, the federal government.
Oh, are working for the
That's
federal government.
civilians across various branches, agencies, and excludes active duty military. Wow, of course. Duh. Come on, AI.
2.8 million people. So let's see.
That's a lot of people.
Oh, well, let's divide that.
2.6. 2.68.
I'm just doing some quick math here.
Math is quick.
Yeah. So they said the email said 900 people have already signed up. Patriots, just patriotic folks.
Yeah.
That's 0.0003 of the whole federal workforce has signed up so far.
So,
not even 1%.
3,000th of the workforce.
3,000th of the federal workforce has signed up. Not a lot. It's not a lot. But hey, you know what? Maybe people, out of the goodness of their heart, want to put more hours in. That's more power to you. More power to you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a question for the people in the chat. Would you want to volunteer your time to support the DHS mission? Not hating on you. It might be something that you really want to do. Get some experience, or you may just like working for free. I don't know. Who knows? Real quick, homebody Miss Katie, what'd she say? That's what I did. I was an 88 Mike truck driver, and I had been driving for 23 years now.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah. How's that career? I was looking at that myself, but I'm like, I fall asleep on the road sometimes. I'm like, I start dozing off. So I'm like, man, I'd be a terrible truck driver, dude. I'd be slamming into people. No, may not. That might not be the job for me. Another one. No, wait, where was I?
Yeah, that's another one.
Chris Roguski. Sounds like you dodged a bullet with that Skillbridge company. Yeah, I absolutely, I feel the same way. Every time I remember that story, I don't really think about it often, but when it's like somebody asked me about Skillbridge, I was like, dude, you really got to choose who you're going to go with. Make sure they're legit and keep up to speed or up to date with them via emails or phone calls or whatever, because shit changes. And yeah, I feel like I really dodged a bullet. It would have been cool though to do something like that. I wanted to shift into something like that, but it was like a sign fabrication company, but I was going to work in their whatever design area. Very techie type stuff with using CAD and all that, so it was pretty cool. Morning Sparky. Is that you or me?
That's I don't know.
Let's just say that's for you. That's for you.
That's for me. Morning to you. Sparky here. Roger that.
Brian Hahn, Semper Fi. Brian Hahn, good to see you, buddy. Okay, we got another question here. It looks like doubling down on freedom. When you're retired, I'm working on a military transition project focused on mental domain as a business, not Skillbridge. Looking back, would you have paid a fee to be a part of a facilitated cohort? That's a good question.
Depends. It really depends. I mean, I'm not opposed to paying for things. I'm not opposed to paying for seminars and things like that. I think if it's the right seminar, if it's legit, if the person's actually giving some value, like it's worth it in some cases. If you're trying to get started in some path and you just have absolutely no idea what that path is about, and you're trying to get some to kickstart your knowledge searching, yes, like I don't mind personally. I don't mind if I have to pay for a seminar if it's something that I really, 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 really enjoy and I want to learn more about, and I found somebody who's really smart at it, knows what the hell they're talking about, and they're not full of shit. Yes, I would say I would pay for it if those boxes were checked. If not, just because, like, I think that sets a scary precedence that people can actually say, oh yeah, well, people were paying for this. So it's the same thing that happens with the VA claims, right? Somebody pays somebody for doing the work, and then somebody says, hey, we should make a company out of this. Let's start charging veterans, and we can actually charge them a whole lot of money. And then that becomes a precedence, and then that becomes the norm. And then you've got all these problems with VA claims sharks out there taking people's money to do VA claims. I think it falls into the same kind of category. If you set the precedence for people paying for that, and then it becomes a thing, and people start paying for it, and it becomes normal.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to get first off. I'd be curious what it is, right? But I mean, I would have to get a ton of educational benefits and I guess trade benefits if it's like a plumbing company or something. I'd have to get a lot out of it in order for me to want to pay into it. So because we understand skill bridge, right? Skill bridge, you're still getting paid by the military because you're still active duty at that point, right? And then you're going to transition over to the terminal leave and all that stuff. So you're still getting paid. But this is at a crucial time where people are, for one, stressed out a little bit about their military to civilian transition, and they're trying to save as much money as possible because they're about to transition into something, into the unknown, essentially. So I don't know that it will work out asking them for money, but it's more of SkillBridge is just meant to teach somebody something, right? Either a skill or get in with a potential employer, learn something, and then either they potentially get hired by that company or they don't and they go find something else. So, I mean, much luck to you if you start charging for that. Me personally, I don't know if I would pay for it. Depends on what it is. I'd have to get a ton of value out of it though, if I'm going to be paying for it.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I missed the part about not being skill bridge. I would throw another angle on this as far as like another perspective. I wish people would do it like the restaurant business, like these big restaurants and these big like 2-star, 3-star, 1-star Michelin restaurants and some of these other restaurants. Like if you get your foot in the door, they have a thing that they call a stage, where you basically just go and work for free for, I don't know, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, potentially longer. But they basically bring you in the kitchen and they agree, like, you're going to come in here, you're going to chop onions and carrots and celery, and you're going to do this station, you're going to wash dishes, you're going to wipe down tables, whatever it happens to be. And they do it on a regular basis at restaurants all over the world, from the big fancy restaurants to even smaller restaurants.
Yeah.
And you can just go there, right? You can apply, usually have to apply through somebody to give you a recommendation. I wish companies would do that. I wish companies would be like, yeah, we have a 6-week program, a 12-week program. If we want to trade somebody from your company on a recommendation to have them come work for us under these terms and conditions for free. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to pay for it, right? You're paying for your food and lodging, your transportation, like all that stuff. You still got to pay for that out of pocket. So either way, whether you're getting it for free or whether you're paying a cost for it, a premium for it, you're still paying for it. I mean, nothing's free, right? So
yeah, you're paying with your time, with your money, whatever. So, but here, let me put it back up there, because this is a good question though, and not a skill bridge, but as a business working on a military transition project focused on mental domain. Looking back, would you have paid? Okay, well, not a skill bridge. That makes it a little bit different. Now, if I'm going to be learning about a business skill, that's a potential. A mental domain. I'm so curious about what this is. Are you going to be a shaman? Like what do you? I'm very curious about what this is. There's a potential. I'd love to hear more about it, because I think I'm also kind of getting my way into that mental domain as well. So I'm very like the behavioral piece of it. So very curious about what you have going on. If you care to share, doubling down on freedom. Let's see. Navy cop, your skill bridge story, my VRNE story, things fall through the cracks in all programs. They absolutely do, man. They absolutely do. Don't put your eggs in one basket, man. All your eggs, just have options. Lucky enough, VRNE is going pretty well, for me at least. And I hate to hear the story that you put out there, I hate how you were treated, should I say, Navy cop, about it. So, but yeah, they do fall through the cracks. You just have to either have a plan B or push forward, and I hate using that, like, push forward or push through, but that's essentially what it is, right? Like, you just got to find the next thing and just move on. It's not forever. It wasn't meant to be. If things don't work out for me, I just write it off. That wasn't part of my life story, and move on to the next thing. That's what it is. I think Russell Dixon here is a great example of
Yep.
moving forward and making big things happen, man. He says, I didn't pass the eighth grade and had a decent work career in the trades. Just saying.
Yep.
That's freaking success right there, brother. That
Love
really
that.
is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
It goes to show you, like, it's not all about college or all that stuff. The trades are huge. If you think about, like, we've talked a lot about AI. We even had folks on here, like Kamo and all that, talk about AI, like veteran AI and all that stuff. Um, AI is going to take over a whole lot of things that we do on a daily basis. But can it, like, add piping to your house, like as a plumber? I mean, it's going to take a while to get there. They're already doing like 3D printed homes and all that, but it's going to take a little while to get there. Are they going to be able to inspect your house, like the home inspector? Are they going to be able to build a home, just the trades, right? Like weld stuff, so it is very sought after, especially as AI is becoming a thing in our lives, daily lives. Yeah, Navy Cop says it just exactly. The trades are needed more these days than ever.
Yeah. And on top of that, we've canceled cultured shop class and things like that. So they don't exist in high schools anymore. As far as I know, they don't, unless it's a trade high school, maybe. But I don't even know if those
Mm.
exist anymore.
So they have something like that. So they have there's a high school nearby that has like diesel engine mechanics.
No.
And I remember taking that in high school myself.
Mhm.
So I don't know why. They probably wanted the students to work on the freaking buses. I don't know why they wouldn't have just regular mechanics, but for some reason it was diesel engine mechanics, and there's a high school nearby here that has the same thing. So, but I don't know about shop classes.
I think, as
They're
far as I know, shop classes have been nixed from curricula across the board. And as far as I know, I have to look that up and do some research on it. That's not a definitive answer, but I was just having this conversation the other day about somebody about doing some car repair stuff, and they were asking about finding somebody to change the oil, and asked about the what is it called, the car center on base where you can take your car and put it on a lift
Oh
and
yeah,
borrow the
the auto
tools and
center.
all that stuff. And I was like, people don't even do that. It's like, people don't work on cars anymore. Most people don't. There's still a handful of people that do, but they just don't teach that kind of stuff in high school anymore, as far as I can tell. And then from the small little research I've done, that's been removed from high school curriculums, along with a few other things. The arts are starting to go away from high school curriculums as well. And it's starting to be more of a STEM oriented, STEM focused kind of curriculum. And they're trying to prepare people for college degrees in various things,
Yeah,
but not really mechanics, not electronics. That's going away, and it's sad.
yeah. I can see that, dude. I mean, like, it's if you're a parent, it's really on the parents now to teach them, to teach
Yep.
kids. Anytime I have to work on my vehicles, I will drag my kids out there, my boys out there, and show them. Like, we've done the starter, the alternator, every so often. I mean, it's easier to go and change the oil at the local shop here, because that way I don't have to dispose of all the crap and have the little pan under and all that. So, and potentially mess up the driveway. But when I do, every so often, I'll change my own oil and I'll show the kids, like, hey, look, here's how you change it. Here's how the dipstick and all that stuff. If it's making a weird noise, it's probably, the whatever, the lifters, or, just, you know, showing them how to take care of that, because it will take care of them if they take care of that thing. Right.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of the trash today is all computerized. A lot of the stuff is very, you can't really work on it. So I remember when I had my '73 Pontiac,
Yep.
before I sold it. So I would get in my own vehicle, right? I have this Honda, and this SUV, and I would get into it. Computers everywhere, everything's computerized, right? And then I get into the Pontiac, and it's like completely, it's a different world, dude. It's this 1973 Pontiac, right?
Yeah.
You can even like the gauges and all that stuff, like you can see
Analog.
it when it's like going down on gas, it'll like physically just like struggle to get back up and like go down. And, it's an old school thing, right? And I really enjoyed seeing that, like they don't make that anymore. Everything's computerized, everything's run by a chip. So it's good to know, even like driving stick shift. It's good to know these things.
Yeah.
Right. So
Absolutely.
they don't really, I know they sell cars that are stick shift, but now like my car has like paddles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never used that trash.
DVT
23 Tiger Nation. I'm joining in soon, leaving in less than a month.
Any advice?
Any advice? We're curious, 23 Tiger Nation. What are you talking about joining the service? Which branch are you joining? What is your potential job going to be that you're signing up for? Let's see. Oh, he also goes on to say, most of my family and friends don't like the military. That's all right, man. I'm assuming you're an adult, right? So it's time for you to make your own decisions. You can't make everybody happy.
No.
But what's best for your life? I mean, you can talk to a lot of folks in this show, and they'll tell you, hey, the ups and downs of life, but ultimately, when you're retired, life ain't that bad. If you're willing to go the long haul. So, yeah, let us know, 23 Tiger Nation. You're leaving soon, in less than a month. What branch are you going to? What branch are you going to be joining? Very curious about that. I can talk about that stuff all day. I've never been a recruiter, but having my own kids who are interested in the military, there's a lot that we can talk about.
Lots of comments today.
Yeah. Chris Roguski, NDAA, extended Terra until 2030, but policy and requirements authority has not been pushed down to the service level yet. All requests have to go through SecNav until that happens. Okay. Well, that's good to know, man.
Yeah. I mean, each branch does its own thing, right? Each branch sets its own Terra stuff, even though it's probably a DOW program.
Let me see. Charlton Zimmerman. Benny DeMarble, 8890. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Benny DeMarble.
Morning, Benny.
Yeah, good to have you on the Military Retirement Podcast and the Green Logbook. I think we're sharing everywhere today. We're streaming on YouTube, both channels, the Green Logbook and the Military Retirement Podcast, on LinkedIn, on 3 channels on Facebook, 3 your channel, my channel, and the Military Retirement Podcast channel. So very good stuff. Jason Beer says it's a forever battle, VA disability compensation. Yeah, it can be. And I'll tell you, John, I have a friend, Air Force veteran, got out maybe 18 years ago, something like that. Never filed a claim. Does not have a rating. And just now is telling me, hey, look, you have this channel, man. Can you help me out? I'm like, well, maybe, depends on what it is, right?
Yeah.
He's like, look, man, I'm walking now, starting, got to get back in shape, and my legs starting to hurt. It's from this injury I had when I was in the Air Force, but I never went to medical for it. Like, what can I do? I'm like, damn, dude, like, why didn't you go to medical? He's like, well, I just like pushed through it. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm like, that's the push through it, right? Like, we shouldn't do that. If something's not right, something's not right. So I asked Raider HQ about this too, because I really didn't know where to start with that. Like, hey, and talking to him, he's like, "Hey, go back and look at potentially any issues that would have um, exacerbated that. Like any specific things, like, hey, was he a parachutist? Did he jump out of a 7-ton? And his leg hurt. Whatever it is, and potentially after that, I still have to get with him a little bit more, but potentially after that, getting buddy letters, and something from like service records showing that there was training involved that may have contributed to that issue. So if you haven't gotten a medical, if you haven't done all those things, it's a little bit of an uphill battle. It's not definitely a no, but I think even getting like a 10% rating would help this dude out in
Yeah.
getting something from the VA. Like, hey, look, I just need some meds, man. I need something to help me. I need somebody to see me without me having to pay an arm and a leg through his insurance, right? Through
Yeah.
insurance.
Even a 0% rating, right?
Yeah, even a 0% rating. That's right. So
That'll get your foot in the door, if nothing
yeah,
else.
and I mean this guy's a young dude, right? Like you're a little older than me, but pretty young. And but I mean there's a ton of Vietnam veterans too who don't have ratings,
Yeah.
who never like shit. I have somebody in my family who was a Vietnam veteran who is like 90 and never went, like doesn't have medical stuff, doesn't have a rating. Thankfully is well financially now, but it's like they did it for the love of country, or I guess, and didn't care about the ratings in the back end. That seems to be like a newer thing. When I started getting out of the military, and 2 years ago, and everybody started talking about, hey, go to medical, go to medical. I'm like, what? Like I'd never, like up until my 18-year mark, I've never heard it that much. Like, hey, dude, you got to go to medical. You got to go. And I'm looking around like, why? Like, okay, oh, VA disability. Like I've never looked into that until the 18-year mark, man. And now I hear that it is a recruiting tactic. Have you heard of that?
I have not, but I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a recruiting tactic. Like, hey, man, you do a couple years in, man, you get 100%, man, get paid for life. I can imagine.
Yeah. Either way, what up, Jason? Good to have you here, man. Good to see you again.
397th Fresco 2. I've been told when doing your VA claim, your claim for VA, even if you get a 0% in any claim, this is good. You want 0%. I've been told.
Yeah, it gets you started, right? It gets your foot in the door. It gets that process started, especially if it gets 0% and it's service connected, because then you can go back and revisit it, right? You can go back and put in more evidence for the claim if you happen to have more evidence and you feel like, oh, well, it should have been a 20 or 30%, but they rated it 0, but I have all this evidence and maybe they didn't see it. Hopefully, once they get this thing rolled out to all the VA clinics and get fully integrated with the DOW, the VA and the DOW sharing information back and forth, sharing the medical records and the data back and forth, they're pushing for it really hard. I just saw something this week about it where they've got it in 6 locations, I believe. It's out mostly in the Northwest, so out in Navy Copland, and then they have one VA facility in Chicago where they have this thing rolled out. But once they get that rolled out, then they'll have all your records synced, hopefully, and that would be really good for people trying to get their stuff taken care of, because then they can just go directly into the records. They don't have to send you off for all these extra exams for stuff that you already got records for, and they can use that instead. But that's forthcoming. I think they said they're going to finish it by 2031, which makes me throw my hands up and wonder what the hell we're doing, pushing a well-tested VA records, healthcare records system out, and they've been testing it for 18 months, 2 years. Now we've got till 2031 to wait. So
it's quite a ways, man.
I don't know why it takes so goddamn long, but
quite a ways.
Whatever, it's on the way. Hopefully that'll help out with things.
Navy Cop said it well here. 0% rating on anything basically says the VA does agree that there is an issue, just not enough for a check. It can help you get services through over something you aren't rated for at all. Very well said, man. I appreciate that. Knowledge from the cop of the Navy. Let me see here. And I like this. Charles Zimmerman mentioned this the other day when I said, are you willing to volunteer your time? And his answer was, Navy, never again volunteer yourself. It's where the journey begins, man. Oh, man. Let's see what we got here. I like that. Egg of Famous. That's a great name, by the way. Reminder that both y'all exist and make a difference, just making people's day. Well, I appreciate that, man.
Thanks, man.
That's very, very good of you, Egg of Famous. And I love I love the name and I love the profile photo of an egg. Have you ever heard of Gutenma? It's a Japanese
No.
Gudetama, I think Gudetama. So it's a funny Japanese cartoons are very funny to me, right? I watch a few of them, and Gudetama is this. It's called a lazy egg. It's a leg that just like lounges and shit. You know, just an egg yolk. You can look it up. It's freaking hilarious.
Looking at it right
The
now.
lazy
I
egg.
have to Google
Yeah.
this shit. Whenever you tell me, I have to Google it immediately.
Yeah, my kids are very into anime and Japanese stuff, and you know, having lived out there too. So Gudetama, the lazy egg. That's a good piece of gear. Ronan Bruv, what's going on? Hey, y'all.
What up, Ronan?
What's going on, man? Ronan is he's the one that wants to start that VRNE channel, dude. Standing by to stand by, dude. I'm ready for that. That sounds like fun. Let's see here. Oh, okay, doubling down on freedom. Came up with the answer here. Think small mastermind group. Think small mastermind group focused on speeding the mental transition topics and process from the service lead by retired vet facilitators. Okay. Speeding the mental transition topics like military civilian transition topics, because it is a very like huge mental hit, so I can see that.
Mental and emotional.
Yeah, mental and emotional. So looking at that, thinking about it, I almost feel like this the military to civilian transition, that world is becoming very saturated. If you go on LinkedIn, it seems like there are nonprofits on top of nonprofits and people on top of other folks who are trying to do something like this. You can try maybe like a money, like an introductory thing, like, hey, like a money down or something like that, to get your foot in the door. And I don't know how much you're going to charge, or looking to charge $50, $100. But I do also understand that having somebody pay for it gives them buy-in. So it makes you think, okay, well, I'm contributing something. So that means I need to show up to this thing. I need to do my best because I've given something to it. And maybe $10 doesn't cut it. Maybe 100, maybe 500 would make me feel like I need to show up. So it could be a good thing. Would I buy into it? Depends on the curriculum, depends on the value I would get out of it. But I'm very curious about how that would go. If you want to, shoot me an email, man. Curious about it. thegreenlogbook@gmail.com or info@militaryretirementpodcast.com.
Yeah, and then the next comment, I mean, he's expanding a little bit. Drop your Substack in the chat, man. He says he's doing it for free. Set up a Substack, doing a blog. Yeah, drop it in the chat there, and also maybe Navy Cop will grab it and put it on his resource page if it's worthy of resourcefulness.
The unsung veteran. That guy's cool, man. Go to his channel. That guy's Unsung Veterans got an awesome channel. He's doing that stuff too.
Yeah.
Talking to veterans and talking about their veteran journey, their military journey.
Might already be on there, huh?
Yeah, veterans join my podcast. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I like that guy. He's cool. Navy Cop says, push through. It's what we do. I'm in a program now, VCP. What is VCP? Veterans Cop Program. That I may be able to get into a business incubator program that they offer as I progress through their standard employment training. Okay. I like that. Business incubator program. Yeah, let me know. What is VCP? I probably should know what that is. I'm sure I've come across that before.
Veterans Career Program. Don't know.
Okay, running Bravo. Yeah, taking it back. Yeah, no more shop, no home economics, etc. The things they should be teaching, they don't. Yeah, hey, you know what? And that is why if you're a parent, being involved in your kid's life is so important right now, because that they're cutting stuff out of the curriculum in schools, and it's up to the parents to pick up what they don't teach, where they left off. So if you're doing something, have your kids sit next to you and learn that stuff. That's how they acquire life skills. Honey Badger, greetings, all Hawaii watching. Aloha.
What
I
up,
miss
Honey
Hawaii,
Badger?
man. Yeah, what up, Honey Badger? Honey Badger don't give a damn.
Look at this crazy little fuck. He's just tearing his head off.
Oh yeah, the video. I thought you were talking shit about Navy Cop. No.
I can't stop laughing at that video. I can watch it 1,000,001 times and
Yeah, he's just like going on about his life. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Amazing.
Unsung Veteran says, I show my son how to change the oil last week. I gave him the alternative to change it himself or pay himself. Okay. That's good. That's good. Now, provided that your son is like not 3, that's cool. If your son is like 3 years old, pay for it your damn self, kid. Let's see. I have a 2019 Hyundai Tucson. No jokes. Damn. Yeah, I read that too fast because I had a whole lot of jokes there. And I can't change the rear brakes myself because the electronic brake control has to be disengaged by a tech. Otherwise, they won't engage it properly. It's a pain.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's all electronic stuff, dude. It's hard. It's hard now. Now they make it dependent for you to go back and get it checked. Dude, let me tell you something, dude. I've got one of my cars here in my driveway is a Subaru. Okay. And I was trying to, it has those little buttons where you can, engage the garage door opener, up top. I was trying to engage the garage door opener, and for some reason, it burned my freaking keyless entry. I cannot use my keyless entry. I don't know what happened. I had a guy come out here. He's like, and he took the keyless entry is behind in like the trunk, it has like the door that goes up. He had to take apart the whole thing because I just couldn't figure it out, man. I was looking at like YouTube videos and all that. And this dude, he's like, yeah, your keyless entry module or whatever is like burned. Like he opened it up, like the chip is burned. I was like, he's like, what'd you do to it? I go, I was trying to program the freaking garage door opener. Like that. It had nothing to do with keyless entry, dude. It still doesn't work. It fucking blew my mind, dude. Like how, that's it. How? I don't know what that means. I'm reading VR boxing clipped, and I don't know what that means.
I am the chief observing. What are you talking about?
He's watching you right now.
It's because I sit so close to the. I'm trying to get another lens so I can get a wider angle and figure this thing out. Plus, yeah, I had one, and now I have a prompter so I can look directly at you and watch you and observe you. But now I have to use a smaller lens. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, all good, all good. Navy cops. Okay, VCP, Veterans Coaching Project. They host training cohorts that take vets through employment and business training, depending on the track you get into. I hadn't heard of it until I was invited to join. That's very cool, man. I hope everything goes well, dude. That's awesome. Awesome. So here's what I'm gonna do, John, really quick. I need to get a refill of my coffee. So just give me a few, like 2 minutes. You down to hold this?
Be back in 5 minutes banner up? No. Yeah, I got you.
No, yeah. You down to hold down the fort?
Yeah,
I got right back.
Got it. Right. While Vic's gone, I can do what I want. Woo! Snow White, step off. Okay. There is a couple things that I wanted to pull up, and I gotta find them. So the thing that I was talking about, VA, with their long-awaited / long-doubted healthcare transformation finally happening, the federal EHR, Electronic Health Records Management. Like I said, they have it rolled out to 6 locations. Currently, they've been testing it for the last 18 months, I guess. And what that's going to be, timer set. And what that's going to be basically is the DOD or DOW, whichever one you want to call it, and the Department of Veterans Affairs are going to be merging or having a partnership where they can share information back and forth, primarily medical records, medical documentation, service documentation, so that when you go and apply for a VA rating for whatever it happens to be, and you are trying to go through that process, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll send you to go get current medical examination for some of that stuff. Yes, it's still going to apply in a lot of cases, depending on what you're putting your VA rating stuff for. But in a lot of cases, if they have the documentation, say you're doing the BDD process, right? And the BDD process is really easy. So maybe that's not a great example, but the BDD process, essentially, they have access directly to your current medical records because you're still on active duty. What this kind of EHR thing is going to hopefully allow is for that type of synergy to happen so that you can then be out for 10 years or whatever and put in your first claim through the VA, and they'll be able to dig back and find your records and get access to that stuff. They've been talking about this since Trump took over again 2 years ago, from the very beginning, and they've been building this partnership over time. Not to mention the VA ramping up some of their electronic systems, electronic management of documentation and the systems that they have. They've implemented a new tracking mechanism in the VA, on the VA site, where you can actually get a better overview of what you're looking at when you're putting in your VA claim, and you can track it a little bit better through the VA site now, and get some better real-time feedback that you wouldn't normally get when you're waiting for your claim to be processed and claim to be approved. So that's definitely one thing for sure. Keep an eye on it. I know there's a lot of hate in there. I put a comment on here. The only thing that concerns me as a seasoned software analyst and IT person is how the user interface is handled. I see the article that you've gone to every VA healthcare location soliciting feedback. Does the Oracle not have an effective front-end UX UI department? Which basically means, are they actually having somebody design the front end of that website interface, whatever it happens to be, for the veteran specifically? Because I know how a lot of these softwares get built for the government, and they're not necessarily user-friendly, and they are pretty buggy usually. So at least they're doing something. But that's always my concern when they're introducing new tech into the government, is that they actually sit down and do the UX UI design. I don't think that's I haven't ever seen it in a contract as part of one of the salient characteristics of a software contract for the government is actually having a UX UI department, which is user interface, that actually builds the user interface so that's easily accessible to the user and that they can navigate it easily and they don't have to go through 47 clicks and 10 different steps just to get to the one thing that they're trying to get to, which in this case would be your health records or your service records. So that would be amazing. More to follow. Like I said, their timeline is pushed out to 2031, which kind of sucks, especially in today's age where you could vibe code it in like 5 minutes and have it live in a month. But who am I? What do I know?
Are we talking about Navy Cops Hyundai?
Yes, we are talking about Navy Cops
Okay.
Hyundai.
I just came in mid talk, so
No, we're talking about the electronic health records system from the VA. I mentioned it a little bit.
yeah.
Expanding on that and why and how it happened and where it came from and the SecDef and the VA secretary getting together and kind of starting to build that partnership so that they can do this easy handoff from service to VA, right? That's kind of the overarching emphasis of it is to be able to take someone from military service through their transition to their VA status afterwards and have that as seamless as possible. That's kind of the opus for it. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So when I was speaking to this gentleman at this promotion ceremony I went to, he had mentioned that he's going to get out here. He's about to retire in May. And, or excuse me, later on this year, not May. It was October, I think. And I asked him a few questions like, hey, have you started your BDD? And he's like, no, not yet. I'm like, well, you may want to look into that like ASAP. That's probably one of the biggest things. Then we got to talk, and this is right before everybody showed up, right? I showed up a little bit early. He was there. We introduced ourselves to each other. We were there for the same thing, the promotion ceremony. Then he's like, yeah, I'm going to be doing all my medical stuff. I was like, hey, just don't forget also to go to the civilian docs, the ones that maybe the chiropractors and things like that, that maybe you saw that don't exactly send all the information over to the base medical. And, you know, they don't talk to each other. So make sure you get all the documentation for that. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm like, yeah, don't forget that. That was one of the things that I almost forgot when talking to my DAV person when I was doing my VA claim. Like, is there anything else that you need to submit on here? Like any back pains? I was like, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Chiropractor. Bam. I was in a car accident. Then, you know, something else from back in the day, jumping out of a 7-ton thing, some back issues, you know, etc. Thank you for reminding me of that. Now, I got a hold of one of the chiropractors. This was like back in like probably 10, 12 years ago. And they're like, yeah, we don't have your records anymore. I'm like, damn it. You know, so make sure that you get a hold of this stuff before you actually PCS, because it is tough to get it after the fact.
yeah, my rule of thumb is always to ask before I walk out of that office. If it's a civilian office, ask for a copy. And usually they'll oblige. Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, you have to come back in a couple days and get it. But always get copies of that stuff, especially
100%. 100%, dude. Medical stuff, mental health stuff. Sometimes you get the referrals, you know, and they don't exactly, like to a civilian therapist or something like that. They don't exactly talk to the base docs. Yeah, make a full copy of the medical record before I left on the last day. Yeah, that's a good idea, Navy Cop. Make a full copy of medical records. I've got that thing saved in multiple places just in case, right? I've got several hard drives. I've got a file cabinet here with the actual physical records, you know, so you got to make sure you don't lose all that stuff. Keep good files of that.
Muy importante.
Yeah. What else did I miss, man? While I was out of here,
That was
I
it.
got some crazy
And
comments going through here as
yeah,
well.
this lovely comment. Let's throw it up on screen. I don't know what it's about, but the sweet chin music still works.
I have no idea what that means, man.
No idea. Sounds funny. Patient companies.
Yeah, some legit stuff on the comments here. If you want to bring it up. Patrick F. PNW. It's a reasonable assumption as a patient that there's a coherent and complete medical record behind the scenes. Critical error, absolutely. Med documentation system is so broken. Yeah, I mean, you have to advocate for yourself at some point, right? You can't put all your trust and faith into the freaking E3 who's in charge of medical records, who wants to leave on a Friday or pissed off that he's there on a Monday after PT or whatever. You don't want to put all your trust and faith into that. Now, we like to think that we can, but this is your life. Make sure that you are up to speed on what's happening. 397 the Fresco 2. Do not forget a copy of your dental records. A lot of service members forget a copy. Yes. I work in the dental. Yeah. Excellent. And when you get your records, as I recall it, they give it to you like in a sealed binder, right? When you PCS, isn't like a sealed envelope, and you have to
until you get to retirement. Because when you get to retirement, then they seal it up and they send it back to stateside to whatever centralized record keeping place.
Yeah, but that's very good. I'm glad you brought that up. He or she, I don't know what 397 is, but do not forget a copy of your dental records. Excellent. What other kind of records? Somebody had asked, somebody asked in the military retirement group about their DD-214. Like, does it even matter? Like, does it matter to go over there and make sure that everything's updated for your DD-214? Like, what does it matter that their awards are correct? Like, why should I give a crap about it? Was their actual question. And there's a lot of feedback, like if they're looking for a federal position, federal job, if they have time deployed, there's a potential for some incentive there. I think it's for like leave hours. I was just looking at my SF50, and it said because I had time deployed, I get some kind of incentive. I can't recall what it was, but some kind of incentive for it. It might have been like 6 hours versus 4 hours of leave time, something like that.
Yep. True
so
story.
It matters to look at your DD-214, make sure all your records are correct.
Yeah, and I mean, if you haven't, I think we you might have done a video on it as well. No, I'm pretty sure I did a video on it as well. But if you haven't yet, and I just did this the other day just for shits and giggles, just because, if you haven't downloaded your records, you can always go to millconnect.dmdc.osd.mil and log in there. Hopefully you have a CAC. If you don't, hopefully you have the other login. I forget what it's called now, but the way to log into this site, and this is where you set up your beneficiary information, you set up your DEER stuff, you can manage your proof of healthcare coverage and all that stuff. And you can also go in here and grab your military records, and you can get them all, like check all the boxes and have it send you a link. And then you can go to that link and download all your military records and stuff that you can have. If you don't have electronic copies already, you can get a comprehensive electronic copy from here as well. So,
excellent. That's good to know, man. And I would say, make sure your DD-214 is good to go. Make sure that all your records are good. Make sure that your service stuff is good. I was just watching, as I normally do when I wind down in the evening, because school can take a toll, and then work and all that stuff. excuse me. Um, there's this dude on YouTube, and I really enjoy his videos because he goes and calls out people with stolen valor, right? That has been a thing. We all watch that. It comes up every so often. People with a stack of freaking ribbons, and they're like, "Damn, this dude had 9 Purple Hearts. Like, how are you still alive, dude? Like, crazy." No, and literally, this is what this guy was being like confronted about, saying that he had 9 Purple Hearts. So this guy's name, the YouTube channel is Don Shipley. Don Shipley, awesome dude. He's got a son. I can't remember, DJ, I think his name is. Um, but this guy was a former Navy SEAL, an older guy, right? He's older. He's probably like in his 60s, and he goes around and he's like, people get a hold of this guy to say, "Hey, look, I came across this guy who's doing this. He did a public speaking gig, and he mentioned that he's a Navy SEAL, but I don't think he is. Can we look into that?" And this guy Don has this database of every Navy SEAL that there ever was. I think before 1967 or something like that, there were frogmen, and then they transitioned over to Navy SEALs, right? And he has this whole database, and he goes around the country just like, "Hey, where'd you serve? What'd you do?" And it's so uncomfortable that I love watching it, dude. It's like it makes me cringe just watching these people try to explain their service.
Yeah.
And the one yesterday I was watching, the guy was a storekeeper, second class, saying that he was he was promoted from E5 in the Navy to captain in the Navy. That's like 10 ranks, dude. Like like a captain is like a colonel, right? Like a full bird, right? A captain in the Navy, and an E5 is an E5, right? So I'm like, he said that he was promoted from E5 to captain, and I'm like, and this guy Don's going along with it. He's like, "Oh, okay, man, that's a hell of a promotion," just like, wow. He's like, would it surprise you if I told you that this is not real, that what you're saying is not true? And the guy's like, "Oh, absolutely it is," and then I don't know if it's like a mental thing. Like they say it so much. People say the lie so much that they start to believe it themselves. And so this dude Don just goes around the country just calling out stolen valor on these Navy SEALs. I love the channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. This guy is awesome. Like Navy Cop said, he's been on several podcasts and wild stories. But sometimes he takes his buddies out there with him, like these older dudes. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I served in this team. I don't know who you are. You don't even know the people that you served with." It's incredible the stories that people come up with. This dude said he had 9 Purple Hearts. 9 Purple Hearts, dude. How are you still walking, bro? Like what? Yeah, Navy Cop said it good. "You've never heard of First Class Captain Gunnery Sergeant of the Coast Guard, a very limited and off-book program." Yeah, and anytime they're confronted with like the stolen valor stuff, they're like, "Oh, I can't talk about it, man. It's confidential." Really? Like, yeah, so confidential you can't tell us anything about your service. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. I encountered somebody like that at a party. I went to it was a kids party, and this person, a little bit older, right? Older than me, probably in their 60s, mentioned to me that they're like, "Oh, did you serve in?" The topic of military came up.
Yeah.
Something about like the helicopters overhead or something like that. And this person's like, "Oh, those are whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, actually they're CH 52s or whatever." Right? And then they're like, "Oh, yeah." I go, and she's like, did you serve?" It was a lady. "Did you serve in the military?" I was like, "Yeah. I was a Chief Warrant Officer 3 in the Marine Corps, and retired. This was like last year sometime." I was like, "Oh, retired last year." She's like, "Oh, okay, Chief Warrant Officer. Is that like like a lieutenant or something?" I was like, kind of. You're a specialist in the field, or whatever." She's like, "Oh, yeah. I was in college, and I was selected to go to become a Navy officer." I was like, "Oh, you were? Oh, that's cool. Like, you went to OCS and all that stuff, or where'd you go?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't have to do all that stuff. That they gave me the rank." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like the stories don't match up, man. And I was just going along with it, just listening to it. And she didn't know what a chief warrant officer was.
Yeah.
Bring up all these stories, like, "Oh, yeah, I served and this and that." I was like, "Ma'am, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know if you have something mental going on." Like, I was entertaining it, but I was getting a little pissed off by the stories, to be
Mm.
honest. But I just kind of exited the area. I was like, "Yeah, crazy times in the military, huh?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I got out." Oh, yeah, I'm sure. The stolen valor is real, man. People just get it in their mind that they did something,
Yeah.
and it's like, where does that come from? Like, you say it so often that it just stays in your mind. Like, even if you serve 4 years, be proud of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to make some shit up that you went from an E5 to what's a captain, an 06?
06. Yeah.
That's some hell of a jump, dude.
Yeah.
I got promoted
I
from
could see
E5
going the
to
other
06.
direction, but not that direction.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. That shit's crazy, dude.
Insane. Yeah, and actually, quick mention if anybody hasn't heard already,
Mhm.
maybe just a quick salute and a quick mention to Chuck Norris, just passed away, honorary Marine, just passed away. Long life, martial arts master to the nth degree. Really, really good guy. I mean, I never met him in
Air
person.
Force veteran too, wasn't he?
Yep, Air Force veteran. And I think they said there's only like a handful of honorary Marines. It's like 30 of them, maybe, or 60 of them. I don't know. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of them. And he happened to be one of them. So, but yeah, shout out to Chuck Norris.
Yeah, the
Rest in
man
peace,
was
buddy.
yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, man. He was real big in my childhood too. And he'd always
Same.
come out with the Bowflex or whatever the hell he was selling at one point. With was it Christy Brinkley or Suzanne Summers? One of those ladies. Like, he would always have them on their show, and they were doing some kind of, it was like a sit-up machine where you I don't know what it's called, but he was selling that stuff. But it's always cool to see him, like his old martial arts movies. I think he fought like Bruce Lee at one point.
Enter
Yeah,
the
and
Dragon.
then didn't he was there when Bolo Young was there. We know him as Chong Li from Bloodsport, Master Bolo Young, who is a big part of my childhood as well. Probably the biggest freaking martial artist guy that you'd ever seen in your life, yeah, there you go. So Navy cop knows them all. Christy Brinkley. Okay. Suzanne Summers had the Thigh Master squeeze your way to shapely hips and thighs. That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, shout out and rest in peace, Mr. Chuck Norris. You know what's behind Chuck Norris's beard?
Chuck Norris.
A fist. Come on. A fist. 397 Fresco says you can log into Dentrix site and view your dental or your medical profile. You can print your doctor notes and view all the medical treatment you had. The system came live around 2022 before it was TRICARE. Really? Dentrix, huh?
Never knew.
Dentrix.
Never ever knew.
I feel like they could have picked a better name, though.
Yeah. It's actually a commercial company, right? But how do you get into the doctor notes and all the medical treatment? Maybe it's just on the commercial side. I don't see a military way to get into it.
Dentrix military login? I don't know.
Ooh.
It says many found out when I took TAP that many of their medical treatment were not transferred to Dentrix. So Dentrix is the new system now. And John, you just looking into it right now, you can't find a way to log into it, like for the military side.
Yep.
I hate how non-user friendly they make this stuff. I
Yeah,
hate that.
that's what I was talking about when we were talking about the VA and
Mhm.
the DOW/DOD
Yeah.
merging together and sharing information back and forth and creating a partnership so that they can transfer the military service member through to the VA and have a nice easy handshake.
Yeah.
But the front end is always the problem. The front end is always the problem. Always the
But
problem.
I'll tell you the VA has made an awesome app. Theirs
Yeah,
is probably the most user friendly one that I've seen.
it's amazing.
Yeah, you can go in there, you can message your doc, and they usually respond like in a day or so, depending on when you message them. You can check all your stuff, your payments, all that stuff, your VA disability stuff. Um, Very user friendly, very easy to use. So if they can all just get on the same program and just have something similar to that, and not a different app, just everything within maybe the VA app,
Yep.
just one app
Yeah.
to rule them all.
One app to rule. It would be nice. It would be really nice. Yeah. So what I'm looking at is Dentrix Enterprises, which is the commercial company, works within the DoD's new federal electronic health records system called MHS Genesis. I believe that's what we're referring to. And they're supporting dental care from initial injury to treatment facilities. Yeah, looks like through MHS Genesis is where you would access that they've integrated the Dentrix Enterprises dental medical records into the MHS. So MHS. Let me know if I'm wrong, the fresco.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Let me take this thing out of here. I can only have one headphone in at one time because I have to be aware of my surroundings at all times. So I can't stand seeing people at like on the bus, or just walking around with both headphones in, like big headphones on.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know like what's happening around you? You can't hear anything. You have to be aware of your surroundings, dude.
You don't have
Situational awareness.
that transparency mode where you can actually hear stuff outside of your headphones and still hear the stuff
No.
inside of your headphones? No. You
Too
don't
much
do that
technology,
shit.
dude. I just keep one out. Too much tech. Yeah, low. You know how it works. Low bid gets the contract. Low bid generally means cuts to services like user experience. So you get what you get. Yeah, I agree, man. That's what when we hear the term military grade, it wasn't until after I started like I became a contracting officer at one point.
Yep.
And then I started looking at what military grade actually means. And it is the lowest bidder, right? Like it's like, oh, military grade this, the military grade that. I'm like, yeah, you start looking at it a different way. That just means they're like making it at bare bones as possible.
Air Force veteran with a question.
Okay, I retired effective March 1. I filed my BDD sometime in September 2025. When I can expect a decision to be made. The application is still in step 5. I check my VA every couple of days. Okay, retired March 1st. BDD sometime in April or September 2025. Okay, September. What are we now? March.
Retired. Congratulations.
Yeah, first, congratulations on the retirement. Not sure why it's taking that long. If you're, that's the day of your end of active service, right? The retirement, March 1st, not like the day of your terminal leave. And then you filed your BDD in September 2025. Got you. And are we talking March 1st, like that, just like this month, March 1st?
Yeah, it would have to be this month,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
December, January. It's 6 months.
And how many steps are there? I assume step 5 is one of the last steps, right?
No, step 8, I believe, is the last step, if I remember correctly. and it can go back and forth, right? It doesn't just go to 5 and then go to 6 and then go to 7. It doesn't work like that. Like, it can go back and forth. It generally should be fairly quick. And let me see if I can pull this up because I don't remember what exactly it's called, but on the VA website, I don't know if it's on the app yet. I don't think it is, but on the VA website itself, I would go to the VA website and log into the VA website on your computer. And I would go in there and look because they have a new tracking tool that they just implemented. It should be live. As far as I know, it's live. I went and checked on it and it looked like it was live. But I don't have any active VA claims, so I can't really tell. But I would probably go to the VA website and see if you can find that tool. And I'm going to see if I can look it up real quick too as well. For tracking your VA claims in a better process.
Yeah. So I will say they go pretty quick. And I'll tell you real quick my experience with the BDD. I got my VA rating 11 days after my end of active service. That's when they give me my percentage. I got to believe that they're backed up if that's taking you that long, because usually it's an expedited process. And unless you submitted something else supplemental that will probably back it up because they still have to review everything, I would expect it to move fairly quickly now that you are like fully retired. Yeah, he says terminal leave ended on February 1 or February 28th.
Yep. So let me put this in here, and I just did a search for VA claims status tracker, and you should be able to sign in, and you should be able to see something. They have a status tracker on the website that's different from the tracker that's built into the app. The app just gives you kind of like here's the status. I think this one gives you a little bit more fidelity to your VA claim status. But I would just jump into the va.gov website /claim-or-appeal-status, or just search on Google for VA claim status tracker. And you should get in here. I'm almost 100% sure that they've got this thing up and running, the claim status tool. So you should be able to get in there and look at it and see what's going on. And that should give you a little bit more fidelity into your status. Because I believe the app just gives you like, okay, here's where it is. This is the step that it's on. And again, it goes
that's what it'll give you.
8 or 9 or something like that, I think, is the steps.
Dude, I was in the same boat, man. I was checking my stuff like religiously, like daily. And I'm like, man, this thing is not moving. Why? But I mean, it moved pretty quick. Through the last steps, at least, it moved pretty damn quick. And I was not expecting it. I was at work one day and it just happened to be, I got a call from the DAV. She's like, hey, your thing went through. You got your percentage. I'm like, oh, shit, that's cool.
Yep.
You know, thank you for the update. Yeah, so I would expect it like any day now. It should start moving through.
I don't know if you already put this on screen. I kind of zone out when I'm searching stuff for the internet. I'll throw that
Oliver Rust 8993. Glad I just tripped over this channel. I'm digging it. Retired Marine here. And yes, I didn't take the correspondence course. Thank you. Well, welcome, Semper Fi. Great to have you, Oliver Rust. Love that. Yeah, Navy Cop mentioned it too. Like, it can roll through steps 4 through 6 randomly, depending on evidence collection and such. There's no real timeline these days, so things have processed faster than they have in the past. I will say too, like, they're probably backed up at the VA right now.
Yeah.
With all these things. So it's probably taking a lot longer than it did just a few years ago. They just don't have the manpower like they did a few years ago when things were running a little bit smoother, a little bit quicker, should I say. A lot of people are double-hatted on things, so just understand that.
Looking to see if I can tell where I find all my medical records and my x-rays and such, going to the BCNR to file a claim. The best place, Tony, is to go to a military medical facility and go take your little ID card up there and say, hey, look, I need a copy of all my medical records and all my x-rays and all my scans and everything. And they should generally be able to get you that within about 2 weeks. It might be quicker now that they've started to integrate all that stuff. And don't forget to ask for dental records as well, because they do have access to it. If you have access to be able to log into the site that we just talked about for medical records, the what was it? EHR Genesis. If you can log into Genesis, you should be able to go in there and get it. But I would say if you want a good, like they'll put it on a disc at a medical facility, a military medical facility. They'll take down your information, your social or whatever DOD ID number, and you'll fill out this little form. And you'll give it to them. They'll say, come back in a week or two, and we'll have a disc ready for you with all your scans and all your x-rays and all your stuff on that disc comprehensively. That would be where I would go. Otherwise, check if you can get into Genesis. And then the next place to get it would be maybe through the VA once they get that thing rolled out by 2031, if you're willing to wait.
There we go. Let me see. And Bruce Daniel, great extension for Chrome. Which one are we talking about, buddy? What is a great extension? I'm always looking for excellent extensions for my Chrome.
Yeah, they have that VA checker thing. When I did the search for it, they have a Chrome extension. Yep. Claim tracker on Chrome.
There we go.
VA claim tracker.
Might be something that you look up. Also, some API hacks. Yeah. He says, Tony Slaughter says, I don't have an ID card. Can I go to the VA headquarters? If he had, like Navy Cop mentioned it here too. If he has a VA medical card, like I have nothing. He says, "Oh, well, let's hook Tony up here real quick. Let's check it out on the spot." Let me go back to his first question here. Request VA medical records.
Yeah, but that's going to give you just your VA stuff, right? That's not going to give you all your military records.
Yeah, request military records.
I think you would probably, and you can't get it through MilConnect because MilConnect is just your regular records, right? They don't do.
Okay.
Right. Let me get my CAC and plug it in real quick, and I'm going to log into MilConnect and see what I can get.
So here's what I'm on here real quick. Request your military service records, types of information you can get. I'm looking down here, your medical and health records. Okay. How to request your records from the National Archives. So chances are, Tony Slaughter, if you left the service quite some time ago, chances are they've submitted them to the National Archives. I think the records management pub says 3 years after the last, there's a date attached to them, right? So 3 years after whatever that date is, they have to submit it to the National Archives, according to the records management for Navy and Marine Corps. I don't know what service you were in, but you can request it online, make a new request through this link, takes you to the archives, make a new request, etc. This is probably one of the routes I would go. Let's see, make a new request. eVetRex, sign in with ID.me, then you would have to sign in with that. So, okay, you left in 2005. Well, I mean, I don't, it doesn't have a timeline on here. I don't think that would matter. You have to fill out the National Archives request form. If you were discharged, the question was, can I get my records from the DOD? If you were discharged after any of the dates, you can request your records from the DOD through Mill Connect website. So there's a chance for Mill Connect as well if you were discharged after. What service were you on? Okay, you've done all that. And you've already requested it from the National Archives and nothing? Hmm. There's got to be a number on here. You should be able to call them up and ask them. It went to Manpower. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to give them a call and ask what the status is or how exactly you get that. Uh, this is the way I know how to get it. I mean, I've had it linked to my bookmarks here just in case I need to get something else like medals, decorations, because you can request medals and decorations as well. Or Navy Cop also mentioned the local VA medical center. They do have an admin office at some of these VA medical centers that you can go get a hold of the folks to assist you. So yeah, it can be if you don't have your records, it can be a bit of a process. Just like Tony Slaughter mentioned, it's always busy,
Yep.
kind of hard to get a hold of somebody after the fact. And I like the idea. I like the comment that Navy Cop put up here, local VA medical center, because a lot of VAs have that administrative center, right? I know Tony Slaughter is not the only one who has come across that trying to request medical records that from his time in the military. There has to be a process in place, and I'm sure that you would get a clear cut answer from somebody at the VA. Tony, man, if I worked at the VA, I'd hook you up, man. I'm trying to get there.
But SBP premium. Sounds like a question for Josh.
I have a question about SBP premiums. I've been getting billed for 32 years. I have not made any payments and now owe a lot. So just help me so I can track this properly. So as I know it, and it's 32 years, so it might have been a little bit different. SBP comes straight out of your retirement.
Should be allotment, yeah.
Yeah, so it comes straight out of there. They never asked me to do like a direct deposit or anything like that. It would just come straight before I even get paid. And they already removed that. And you have not made any payments on it. Now you owe a lot. Over 32 years? I mean, yeah, that I'm just going to do some quick math here to see what I would owe for 32 years, man. While we look that up.
Yeah, that's a ton of money. I mean, yeah, if you just do the premium math, right? Let's just call it.
That's six. Yeah, that's six figures right there, man.
Yeah, let's just call it 250 a month, just generically times 12 times, what do you say, 32?
32 years, yeah. Yeah,
it's a nice chunk of change.
Yeah,
and
well,
very strange.
That's something I'd have to look up, man. As far as, I don't know how they kept you on there. Like, did you know about it? I don't know how they kept you on there covered without receiving payment for 32 years.
And was taken from military retirement and got
Yeah.
VA pay.
That's something. Yeah, that's probably a good question for Josh. You know, Josh from MVMT Financial. Like, he knows a lot about SPPS. I'm trying to get out of SPP. So that I'm in a different boat there
Yeah.
because I don't need it. I'm within that time frame. But man, 32 years of SPP. Let me do some quick.
And 30 years is not the max. It goes until you leave the earth, right?
I would think
I
so.
I don't think there's a max on it. Maximum contribution. Base pay, annually 55%.
Looking it up here.
Yep. Annually coverage for retired pay.
You have like a missed deduction, a change in beneficiary status. I'm just looking that up real quick. It says one of those things, or a correction or administrative error. SPP coverage remains active until the plan is paid up. 360 payments, age 70, or the beneficiary is no longer eligible, such as children aging out. Yeah, I would have filed for an audit as well.
So 30 years. That sounds right. 360 payments, right? It's 12 payments a year for, is that right?
I don't know, I'm reading something here. So that's the thing with the SPP is, man, like they kind of spring it on you when you go to pick up the DD 214. Like, hey, make a life decision right now.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize. And it's so freaking hard to get out of it. Like you can't, there's only certain times where you can get out of the SPP.
And a lot of times they don't tell you those times.
No, hell no. So for anybody out there listening, there's only certain times you can get out of the SPP. I made like a whole video on this thing, and I hate to say, hey, go to my video over here, but I mean, yeah, if you want more information, go on the video. So between your second and third year after you retired, after you've been into it consecutively for 5 years, if you're 100% PNT, I think those are the only two. And then something to do with marriage. I can't recall what it was, but there's only like minimal events where you can get out of SPP, completely out of it. And you don't get any money back, right? It's like an insurance thing. You pay towards it. You're covered during that time. You don't get that money back. Or you don't opt into SPP when you go to pick up your DD 214. And you'll find that a lot of times SPP is more expensive than your actual life insurance. I found that out. So that's why I'm like, $1 million policy is less expensive than freaking SPP. That's going to pay your next of kin or your spouse or whatever. What is it, like $1,500 a month? So if you want that peace of mind, that's all good. However, it gets expensive, and you could potentially get a lump sum versus just $1,500 a month potentially. So is it a good deal? I don't know. I think it saves the government money. Because how long are you going to live? How long is your next of kin going to live, really? And they're getting paid $1,500 a month, but yet you're paying into this thing. Yeah, Boogeyman, this is a good question. If you want to, I'd say shoot us an email, man. This gives me a chance to do some research. info@militaryretirementpodcast.com. Shoot us an email and let us know. Just cover, cover that question you had in the email, and I would love to do some research, man, and let you know.
Yeah, we could circle Josh in on it too and see if he's got any insights on it.
Yeah, so Josh is from Movement Financial. He's a financial strategist, and he knows a lot about SPP. I know how to get out of it. He's the one that kind of knows everything else. So good question, though. Yeah, shoot us an email. It costs you 3 times as much when you have lost income. Makes no sense. Yeah.
Morning, Raider.
Raider HQ, good morning or evening, gentlemen. Hey, good morning to you. It's 10 o'clock for me. So good morning to you. Oh, email is info@militaryretirementpodcast.com.
Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, if you could, please. Thank you.
There you go. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it'll give us a chance to do some research on this, man. I love doing the research anyway. It makes me smarter, and if I can help somebody else out doing it, if we can help somebody else doing it, and doing the research, why not? Why not? What else I got? What else I had to do? Research. What are the questions we got? We had let me see here. Where the hell did I save that thing? Oh, it's Hellfish Haven here in the chat. Hellfish Haven sent me a message. So I appreciate it, buddy. So for a while, I'll share this here on the screen here. For a while, I was trying to figure out what this gentleman's name was. So I took a photo with this gentleman. He came to talk to us about his experience with in Pearl Harbor. Excuse me, World War II, Korea, Vietnam veteran, and he gave us a talk. I couldn't remember what his name was. This is me, of course, standing next to him. Went up on stage, just talked to him a little bit about, his experience, and couldn't recall what his name was. And then Hellfish Haven knew exactly who he was. So I appreciate that, buddy, because I was like going through all my photos, and I like to put a name to the face. And I'm like, damn, man, what is this gentleman's name? So this one is his name is retired Marine Corps Major Billy Hall. Billy Hall. So great dude, great experience, crazy experiences, but great talk. Really appreciate that.
Where'd you get that canteen cup from, Vic?
I'd like to know where you got that canteen cup. I got it from Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Exchange 2 days ago. It's ceramic. It's not an actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was over in Camp Pendleton over at 1MEF about 2 days ago to see a friend get promoted to Chief Warrant Officer 4. A very good friend of mine. Love having folks like that in my circle. And then sure enough, I always pass by the exchange, right? It's like right by the Naval Hospital as soon as you come on base. And I was exiting the base, and I'm like, you know what? Let me stop by over there. Let me go get a cup. And I grabbed a Chief Warrant Officer 3 mug, and I grabbed one of these. So very good piece of gear, man. Kind of awkward to hold though.
It looks awkward to hold.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I mean, it's probably about the size of a regular canteen, but
yeah.
They didn't have the officer one. They only had the enlisted gold one. So I figured I was enlisted at one point. Why not? But they didn't have the officer one. So all good. But yeah, Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Exchange. You can get them there. I think they're like $20 or something.
Not sponsored.
And of course, tax-free. Not sponsored. Yeah. But it's tax-free, right? That's why you go to the exchange. It's all tax-free.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Tax.
It's great to get like high-end electronics at the exchange. You don't have to pay the extra taxes for it. Yeah, great. Tony Slaughter. I appreciate it, man. Are you saying that I look old now? Because that was only like 2 years ago, but no, yeah, that was more like maybe 4 years ago. Yeah, it was the facial hair definitely adds a couple years, man. When I trim it down, I start looking younger, but as I grow it out, I look like my dad. So Oliver Russ, let me know. Oliver Rust was he mentioned he's a Marine, right? Retired Marine, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah,
I'd
but
have
if
to
you live
scroll
close
back
to an
up to the
exchange,
comments.
yeah, not all exchanges have them, but if you live close to an exchange, they potentially might have them. So definitely check it out. I'm reading this comment here. I don't know, man. I went to the military and I feel like a winner. I feel like a winner just responding to that comment. I feel great. So thank you for that, buddy. Mac Dude, I have a question. What is your question, Mac Dude 04?
You'll be happy to know, Vic. I've checked on the internet to make sure this is actually legit.
Stolen Valor? What is it?
Well, almost stolen valor. Give this a
Shit.
wait for
Tell
it.
me. Do tell, man. Do tell. Don't keep me in suspense, dude.
I got you, man. It's coming right. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Waiting. Hell yeah.
Devil Dog.
How much are they online?
$27.95.
All right. Devil Dog Depot is good to go. They also carry, or they did carry at one point, undercover clips. So good stuff. But yeah, there you go. That's where you can get it, I guess. Hold on, not sponsored though. So
Not sponsored by
we'll
Devil Dog Depot.
We'll have to get a hold of Devil Dog Depot and let them know
We
give
should
them a
be
shout out
sponsored by them. Should be sponsored by them.
All right, Mac Dude. If you're already PNT, but things you have service connected, is it worth it to seek a higher percentage? A higher percentage, PNT. Curious what the percentage is.
Yeah, and you don't have to tell us if you don't want to. I mean,
No, definitely not.
Personally, if I was sitting at 100% PNT, and I'm just going to assume that it is, I need a beard. I don't think I would tickle the bear, as they call it. How do they say it? Tickle the bear, poke the bear.
Poke the bear. Yeah. I don't know that I would either, man.
Especially right
now. SMKs are a different thing, I believe.
Right. Exactly.
SMKs are different. Like, so if there's any kind of
loss of limbs,
yeah, things like that, you can go down the SMK list. That's a different thing. But I mean, if you're sitting at 100% PNT, I wouldn't. Now, yeah. Example, foot pain is now 30%, which contributes to the PNT, but foot pain is worse now. But you can still get seen for your foot pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a rating. You can go to the doc and to the VA and have it seen. Now, I will say, I would not, if I was sitting at 100% PNT, I don't know that there's any reason that I would seek a higher percentage, because then you open yourself up to reevaluations. I've always been told that, and that's what I believe. If I was 100% PNT, I probably wouldn't do it. Given what I am right now, I probably still wouldn't do it because I'm good with what I got. So, but the SMC is a different thing. You may want to look into that. But I do believe that if you have a 30% rating on your foot, they will still see you at the VA. I mean, I've got things with lower ratings myself, and they still see me at the VA for these things. So I don't know that it matters how high the rating is. Maybe it does, but they still see me, no questions asked. Curtis Knight, John, you need a beard, bro. Yeah, I feel like John could grow a good one, man. I don't know. But it's not the norm over in Italy, is it? You're just trying to.
No, it is actually
you're in
the
the
normal
Italian.
here.
Is it? So.
Oh yeah, a lot of people got beards. It's a thing. It's like it looks like what do they call that? Up in, I think it started out there in Navy Cops territory, where they call it
No, the
Not
hipsters,
hipsters with
the
the beards and
lumberjacks.
the flannel shirts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing over here.
I feel like
Very
you look like a what's the word? A not a hipster. It'll come
a
to me.
hippie,
No, not a hippie either. No, it'll come to me.
like ZZ Top.
Yeah, like I don't know. It'll come to me. But yeah, be cool to get you a beard, man. See, as a kid, my dream was to be a soldier, and I was jumped and left with permanent hearing loss at the age of 12. Man,
Horrible.
yeah, that is horrible, man. Um, well, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. It's that's a rough childhood, man. The age of 12, crap.
Yeah. But either way, we appreciate you being here. You're
Yeah,
you're
and
part
you
of
got a
this community
successful
either way.
life in the
That's right.
trades, right, Russell Dixon?
Yep.
So I'm happy you're here, man.
Yeah.
Cornell Irons. Cornell Irons 5348. Work on SMC. All right, yeah, that's in response to Mac, dude, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Poke that damn bear, he says. Most ratings are static. If you're over the 10-year mark, then poke away.
Yeah, true. Also true, right?
Navy cop, man. You got a man bun? John, are you a retired Air Force port dog?
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. I'm a retired Army warrant officer.
Oliver Russ say you look like a better Adam Carolla.
Well, I mean,
An Adam Carolla, dude. I love listening to that dude's show. That guy can go on some rants, man.
yeah.
He had a straight 30-minute rant on nutmeg. Have you heard of that one? A nutmeg.
I have not.
Hilarious, dude.
I'm gonna have to look that
Hilarious.
up so I can watch it later.
Adam Carolla.
Cool.
He's got that voice too. He's like, let me tell you something about nutmeg, bro.
Nutmeg. I will be watching that later.
Yeah, I don't know if you can find it. It was in one of his shows. He's got that Adam Carolla show, and he was like, "Man, let me tell you about nutmeg," and it just goes on. And that dude can argue. I would not argue with Adam Carolla, dude. That dude would just go on and on. What am I reading here? My dad was in the VA hospital, and this Vietnam vet lived his whole life, then decided to grow up punana.
A what?
Do not Google that at work.
I'm Googling that right now.
Okay, well, you're here now, but if you're at work, do not Google that. What am I reading? Tony Slaughter, man, you got some stuff. Chief Corolla is your name. Chief Corolla.
Chief Corolla. Whoa.
That's great, man. That's a new one. I can't unsee that now. Damn, that's good. That's good. Let me see what I got here. So yeah, a whole lot of things going on in the veteran sphere. A whole lot of changes, updates. Just what I would say to everybody is just stay cognizant of it. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the news crap. A Panoch, well, that's a whole different thing. Okay, so I understand. He did the not the military to civilian transition. He did the other kind of transition. Gotcha. So, Tony Slaughter. Ah, damn. This is good. This is a good start to my Sunday. This is good. I like this. Yeah, so don't get bogged down by all the freaking news stuff going on, right? It's like somebody had put it in the comments at one point how all the news stuff was giving them a lot of anxiety. Um, it Take a break from that crap because you don't really need it in your life. Things are happening in a corner of the US, and you can look outside and maybe you'll see a neighbor walking the dog or something like that. Things are not happening like that all over the place. So take a break from all that. The anxiety can get to you, and it spirals out into depressive crap. We don't need that in our life. Don't get your heart rate up over that stuff. Chill out, have some fun, go outside, get some sun, do what you got to do just to live a good life, live another day, man. That's what it's about.
1% better every day.
That's it.
1% better. Yeah.
Oh,
And like we said in the very beginning, when we were talking, mindset is a thing, right? Mindset is definitely a thing. And
oh yeah.
the news cycle is not going to put you in the right mindset, but even if you've already been out for a while, find something to work on at home personally to set yourself up for a good mindset, whether that's meditation, whether it's journaling, whether it's making pottery, playing guitar, playing the drums, taking a hike with the dog. Find a space where you can put this thing, this little rectangle, glowing rectangle down for a minute and do something with your
Yeah.
hands, do something physical, do something, that requires not this. Hopefully. I mean, you're gonna have to pull it out every once in a while either way if you gotta look something up. I understand that, but just setting aside 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to put that thing aside and do something kinetic with your body and your mind,
Yes.
and get out of the trance of the news cycle and the doom scrolling. And that will set you up for a lot of really good things. It might not come immediately. You might not notice it immediately, but you will notice it over time if you continue to do that on a regular basis. It will
Absolutely.
it will happen.
Yeah.
Been proven by
You know what
science.
I came across too, excuse me, as doing all the school stuff with the human behavior and psychology and all that, I came across um, binaural beats. I've heard it before.
Yep.
I started listening to it yesterday. I started writing my paper, and I'm doing drugs in American society, right? This whole class, and I had to do a discussion question, and I'm kind of all over the place. Like, just like I forget about what I'm thinking about. If I don't completely like close myself off and focus,
Yep.
I lose it. I cannot retain the focus, right? If I don't have my green logbooks or my logbooks here with me. So then I thought, you know what? Let me look at it's delta and theta are more for like sleep. These are the sound waves. And alpha, alpha, beta, and gamma. I got it written here on my wall. Different hertz, different frequencies help you focus a little bit more. And I found that actually sitting down and putting on 40 hertz, which is gamma, is great for deep focus. Man, it's just like a sound, but I was like in the zone, dude. I've never actually done that. Like I've heard it before, maybe I've had it in the background, but the rays at the gamma waves, sound waves at 40 hertz, deep focus and peak concentration. If you're looking at beta, 12 to 30 hertz, active analytical thinking, that's what it's best for. And the alpha waves, 8 to 12 hertz, are good for reading and light study. So check that out if you're ever like kind of doing your work, doing your homework, trying to concentrate, study. Put some sound on, 40 hertz. It's like money, dude. It's so good. So good. Real quick, going in the comments.
Yep. I was just looking up the
Yeah.
vet camp this summer in Ohio. I hope this is the right one, but this says middle school and high school. So be it.
I don't know what we're
Veterinaries.
talking about.
That's not it. There was a comment in the
Oh.
chat about a veterans camp in Ohio.
All right. Tony Slaughter says, did you guys know the VA was paying out benefits from the Civil War until 2020? Yes, I did. I heard about that. That's crazy to think about, right? Crazy. I think it's like it's the next of kin, down to the next of kin type of thing. Navy Cop, thinking of starting to film the podcast today. Hell yeah.
What?
We'll see what kind of dumpster fire I can create. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. Let me know. What is the podcast going to be about? I'm curious. That's gonna be huge. I love that, man. Mo Perspective, welcome. Good to have you.
Back.
Vic, John, Navy Cop, and the chat. Awesome. Good to have you, Mo Perspective.
Love having you here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw that veteran camp in Ohio. I don't know what that is.
Looks a little interesting. Might be a nice little tour for you.
Yeah, somebody mentioned about Combat Craig too. So I've heard of Combat Craig. I've seen some of his videos, not too many, before he passed away. Unfortunately, he did pass away. They had his funeral not too long ago, and I mean, he knew his stuff. You know, from what I understand, the gentleman fell while he was in his house, hit his head, and passed away that way. So it's unfortunate. It goes to show you how precious our lives are. You know how short lived they can be, but I got to live every day. You got to live in the present every day, because you just don't know. Veteran camp.
Looks promising. Looks interesting.
So what do you do? Is it walking uphill? What is it? Man, veteran camp camaraderie. Is there are they missing a comma? Or is it just a man veteran camp?
Man veteran camp camaraderie.
So I'd have to look at this. Is it one of those like, hey, you paid towards this and they help you feel like a man? Like how, I don't know enough about it. I think you've seen those courses, right? Where they have like the Navy SEAL courses and stuff like that. You can go out here on the beach and see early in the morning and see people, groups of people getting yelled at. getting yelled at. You can find those here. I don't know. I've never heard of this. I'm curious. What's the link for this?
Veterancamp.us.
.us, huh? Veterancamp.us.
Regular registration is $129.99. Discount will be reflected at checkout. Donations from generous veteran supporters have allowed us to reduce registration in 2026 to $69.99. It's only
okay. It's one of these.
$70.
Okay, I see. All right, I see what this is. Okay, it's a camaraderie type of camp. All right.
Yep. Get together, hang out in the woods, decompress a little.
All right.
Not bad. Looks nice. Thanks for whoever put that in the chat. I forget who wrote that in there.
It says veteran camp is for men who are actively serving or have served in the U.S. Armed Forces, as well as men who have served in the military outside the U.S. Huh. Okay. Curious about this. I've not heard about it.
Yep. Never heard, never been.
Yeah. I don't know. Davey Cobb says podcast is focused on speaking to those vets that stay in the shadows. My experience of becoming solitary, dealing with social anxiety, loss of tribe, and things I'm doing to cope with the transition. It's incredible sometimes to me, and I thank you for sharing that, Navy Cop. But it's eye-opening how long the transition can last for a lot of veterans, right? I've been retired for 2 years, man. I feel like I'm still in the transition.
Yeah.
There's folks that I come across who have been out or retired for 10 plus years, and they still feel like they're trying to find their place. That is, you know, how much we've done in our military careers, like how close we hold that is incredible, and how tough it is to transition over to a life that we were not used to is equally as tough. It's good, something good to research.
Yeah. That and then even if you feel like you've transitioned and made the transition successfully, like you'll have days of remission where things will come back and um, catch up with you. Things that you thought you've left behind or things that you've thought you've gotten over will once in a while they'll pop up in certain situations depending on where you're at, what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a lifelong process transition from the military to civilian life. I feel like it's a lifelong process. It's one of those things that you'll never be completely finished with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I'll tell you, like at the beginning of the week, I was me personally, I was feeling a little down, and it's okay to be like sad, right? It's okay to not feel right.
Yeah.
We're humans, we have emotions. So I wasn't feeling right, and I found myself kind of stuck. Like I sit here, I'm doing the school stuff, I'm working on stuff, and I'm like, man, I have not been outside in like a day or 2 days. If anything, just to water the I have a couple of citrus trees in the backyard, just to water those things. And so I had to get outside. And then lucky enough, and I find it was a sign. I see it as a sign. Where my buddy texts me, he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm getting promoted tomorrow. Can you come?" That's my sign to go get out of the
Yeah.
house and go do something. And I was able to congregate with civilians out there and military service members out there and veterans, right? So it gave me a chance to get out of that hole and go outside. It just felt so good to have that human connection, talk to somebody else in person, right? And it's great to talk to folks on the live stream, over Zoom or whatever,
Yep.
but nothing can substitute that human connection, that real like handshake or whatever hug and all that. So it was great to be out there. And then from then on, it was like let me get out of the slump, because it's all a mental thing. Let me get out of the slump and go do something else. Let me go walk the dog. Let me go work in the yard. Get away from the computer. Go work in the garage. I'm setting up everything in my garage to make it organized. Donating a bunch of stuff to give myself space away from the computer and all the news and TV and all this stuff, all the crap that's happening. It can take over, man, pretty quick. So we gotta stay busy. Veterans, we gotta stay busy, man. We do.
Yeah.
It's that
And
that
no,
that battle rhythm.
yeah, that and then also just knowing when to recognize whenever something like that does creep up out of nowhere, that you can actually recognize it and then potentially have a plan in place, some kind of backup plan to jolt you out of that funk, whatever it happens to be. Um, Thinking about that beforehand when it actually does happen,
Yeah.
and then when it does happen, you be prepared for it as well. Just like in the military, you got to be prepared for what's hasn't yet happened, right? Train for it, train for
Mhm.
it, train for it. Same, same.
Yeah. So Tony Slaughter, man, your comment here. I got mentally nervous when my manager snuck up on me and started screaming at me about something stupid, and I started getting mentally nervous. Um, Tony, man, I I would have some serious problems with that manager if somebody did that to me, to be honest, man. First off, sneaking up on somebody and yelling at them, man. I don't know what the situation was, but they it would not be a good conversation. You can't, there has to be boundaries, even with management, right? Even with at work, there has to be boundaries. Navy Cop says, thinking about putting together a traveling podcast setup to speak to some of the guys that come to the Veteran Service Center and get their stories, bouncing the idea around. Too many tier one podcasts out there that don't speak to the majority of us that aren't operators, but still did our time in service. Yeah, man. I mean, they're popular for a reason, right? They're, special forces sounds cool and all that, right? Tier one
Yep.
or the operators. However, there's a boatload of veterans out there who, have maybe done other things, logistics, air wing, whatever the case may be, who equally have issues, problems,
Yep.
or going through some things, need somebody to talk to. That's huge. When you need somebody to talk to and you got nobody to turn to, where do you go? Who do you talk to? And I think that's exactly what John and I are trying to build here. It's like, hey, look, if you got nobody else, man, come along and hang out with us for a little bit. We'll talk about what you got going on.
Yep. I mean, shit, Navy Cop, if you want. If you don't want to produce it yourself and you don't want to put all this stuff together, you can be our on the street correspondent and record that stuff and send it over, and we'll edit it down.
The street
Make
team.
We'll make a whole tab, a whole section of YouTube of the channel just for that. I'm down for that.
Yeah. I like the idea of going out and talking to folks. I was told at one point that I couldn't do it at the VA because it is like a hospital, right? People don't want to be on camera and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was doing an event out there, or part of an event, and was going to go and record with my stuff. And I was told, hey, look, you can't really do that at the VA. I don't know if that is true or not. I was just told by somebody who works at the VA. So I didn't argue too much about it. I respected it. I'm like, okay, I understand, right? Some people don't want to be on camera. Maybe they don't want to, it brings up some anxiety or whatever. So I stopped recording. But I mean, if you can get folks maybe like out in the parking lot or something like that and talk to them outside of the VA, then that's something different. Not inside the facility, but outside, that's something different. So,
off of federal property.
Yeah. Excuse me, man. Saw a story about a Marine that wrote into a podcast because he was depressed that he missed the chance to serve on the front lines and didn't feel like he rated being a Marine like the rest. That is a big feeling in the Marine Corps community. I'm sure it is amongst other services. That the Marine Corps has this thing, first to fight. That's part of our song, right? First to fight for right and freedom and to keep honor clean. It's part of the Marines hymn. And a lot of Marines feel like, hey, if they didn't actually deploy, they didn't actually contribute to the mission, then they are not, they feel like less of a Marine. And that shouldn't be the case. I mean, it's a hard thing mentally. It's a mental block that you have to get through, get past. We all raise our right hand. We all, at least the people who joined, who served, raise your right hand, potentially served honorably, did your time. You should be proud of that. But it is that mental block where it feels like, hey, man, I just didn't do enough. And it's tough to get past. And a lot of it, we just need to talk through it, because it's not real that you're not an actual Marine if you didn't deploy. There's been a lot of talk about that while I was in too. Like, hey man, did you even deploy, bro? Like, did you even go to combat? Now there's deployment, and then there's also like combat, right? Like if you saw combat, that's another big thing. And you can really see it when people have like their ribbons on and all that stuff, or the medals. Sometimes you see the combat action ribbons. A lot of folks don't have them unless you are in like some kind of a division or something, if you're like an RBE, remain behind element, or if you are maybe like an admin, logistics, a lot of those folks don't get those combat action ribbons. And a lot of Marines feel like, less of a Marine because they don't have that. Not true by any means. You're still there to contribute towards a mission. And the people at the front lines cannot essentially effectively do their job if you don't effectively do your job. So by providing them whatever it is, beans, bullets, and band-aids, etc. I'm just reading the comments here. Okay, Vet Service Center is a separate nonprofit, he says.
Yeah.
So I would check with them how something like that would work. Wouldn't go on VA property because that is a safe space for vets. Another thing you do, Navy cop, and something I've been doing was get a hold of VFWs or American Legions and ask if you can use a space somewhere in the back, maybe like a table, maybe an office or something like that they may have to do maybe podcast interviews, talk to people there. I've gone to several VAs or VFWs, excuse me, to ask them about that. Some of them are more lenient than others. I've encountered some that are saying, hey, look, you can rent out our space for $175 or whatever. I'm like, well, I just need it for like an hour, So some of them are very receptive and saying, hey, look, that's cool with us. You can use it here. So it all depends, but maybe the VFWs or the American Legions, if you're a member of those. Let's go into the comments here real quick. I probably missed a few. Some folks got some crazy comments, man. I'll tell you. I just scroll through some of them. Some folks got some crazy comments, man. Makes me wonder, and it's funny because potentially a lot of these folks wouldn't say a lot of these things in a room full of veterans, old, crusty, disgruntled veterans. What you got? You look like you're in deep thought and you're about to say something.
There's one. 29 AD, retired as AD1. What's an AD1? Active duty 1. Either way, 20 years. Mark. Is that Mark or Mac? I can't read. My eyeballs don't work. But welcome and congratulations on retirement. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you part of the community.
Hold on. Who's retiring? Did I just miss that? No, I was reading a message on the Facebook. Somebody had just sent me a message here. The Facebook. That's why I know I'm getting old. I'm like, I call it the Facebook. He said, I know Dominic. Oh, okay. You put it up on there. I'm a dumbass. I'm reading this and I'm like, where? And then you have it up on the screen there. I did 20 as an AD, retired as an AD1. And what is an AD1?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
Okay.
But either way, AD1, retired 20 years.
AD1, aviation machinist mate. Okay. So where's the D come into place? Where's that come from? AD1, aviation machinist mate. Just like my name. My name is Vic, but like the G is silent. VFW life member, and they also focus on local community. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, congratulations on the 20 years, man. Did 20 years as an AD, retired AD1. Yeah, it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy, and we get questions from folks like, should I even do my 20? Is it worth it? And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, from my perspective here, it's definitely worth it, right, to do your 20. The question I received was from this Air Force guy who wasn't sure if he should do his 20. He was at 15 years. And I'm like, dude, you're 5 years away. And there was questions about leadership and I wasn't sure what it was. So I told him, hey, look, your leadership is not always going to be there. That leadership is not always going to be there. Have candid conversations with them. Have truthful conversations with them. and let them know like where you stand. You know, they might tell you go kick rocks or whatever, but I mean, they're not going to be there forever. You're not going to be part of that unit forever. You know, I hate to say the word push through, but when it comes to your livelihood and potentially hitting 20 years, throwing your papers down and being potentially paid for life if you served honorably, that might be worth it. And it was worth it to me. So I was happy to do my 20. And, you know, if you're at 15, you're considering getting out, I would say stay in. Depending on your situation, I'd say stay in because come 5 years later, you're going to be potentially kicking yourself in the behind thinking, man, I could have retired by now.
Yeah, I've had that conversation too many times with too many people.
Who was this guy commenting on here?
Don't worry. Navy cops got it under control. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. I don't even know what that means. And if I'm reading the letters correctly, what he just wrote means frying pan in Spanish. So I don't know. Well, with an A. And hell yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It's gaining traction with the freaking weirdos out there. We'll see. Everybody's got a comment on this stuff. The point is, the idea with the whole podcast and the Green Law Book and Military Retirement Podcast is to form a community around like-minded veterans, active duty service members, and people who, you know, just want to have that sense of camaraderie in their tribe. Not really meant for people who want to come in and comment just weird crap. Yeah, Jason Miyamoto, staying 20 was worth it. TRICARE, if anything. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, TRICARE, was it $67 a month for a family? $67 a month? Compared to when I was looking at civilian, just comparing it, right? For a family civilian insurance, you know, like medical insurance and all that.
67 a day on the civilian side, right?
Yeah, it's essentially something like, it was like for a whole family, it was like $600 if you want decent coverage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you know, like 600 something a month versus TRICARE, TRICARE Prime, right? $67 per month for the whole family. It doesn't include dental, but you know, thankfully my wife has a good job and we have dental under hers. So everything's covered. All bases covered there. Now, if we can get on somebody else's, like other countries, how they have universal health care, that would be something else. We'd have to pay more taxes for that, but that'd be something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's trade-offs, right? There's always trade-offs.
Love yourself, BJ4SI. Thank you, Vic and John, for your military service and continuing to serve our brothers and sisters. God bless you and your family. Semper Fidelis. Very respectfully, Master Sergeant USMC. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Semper Fi, and thank you for your comment.
Very kind. Very kind.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I know somebody who pays $700 a month for health insurance. Yeah. Forget that trash, man. I couldn't do it. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't want to do it. Not the place I want to be.
Rather not do it.
Yeah, rather not do it. So, John, man, I excuse me. Let me grab this real quick, and I want to show you this book I'm reading here. Give me a second.
Okay. Work for the VA. My partner's paid $550 a month plus. Hold on a second. Plus, they had deductibles. Like, yeah, exactly. Once you have the deductibles on there, and all the other costs and all that stuff, it's a little crazy.
All right, John. So, like I said, I finished that Notes on Being a Man.
Yep. Great
stuff. And the weirdest thing, right? So I was watching that Star Talk, right, with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and love the dude, right? He's I just love the way he explains things so clearly. And then I started listening to another podcast, and they both brought up the same thing, the same book. And I'm like, oh, let me check that book out. It was about specialists versus generalists,
Okay.
right? Like specializing in something versus becoming a generalist in something and knowing a little bit about everything. And I'm like, man, and I went on Amazon, and it would have been here in 2 days. That book. Then I looked on Barnes and Noble; they had it in stock at the local Barnes and Noble here. I'm like, man, but it was a lot. It was like $20.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I got to get this book in my hands because I love the way they were talking about it, and it had great reviews. I go in my garage. I'm cleaning up the garage, get away from the whole computer thing, and sure enough, that exact book was on my floor in the garage, dude. I don't recall buying it. I might have did like a book haul and I just grabbed it at one point in
Yeah.
time. Don't recall buying it at all. But it is called Range. Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by, unfortunately, the name is David Epstein, but it is by David Epstein, right? Um, It says, for too long, we've believed in single paths to excellence. Start early, specialize soon, narrow your focus, aim for efficiency. But this groundbreaking book shows that in most domains, the way to excel is something altogether different. Sample widely, gain a breadth of experience, take detours, and experiment relentlessly. Range is an urgent and important book, an essential read for bosses, parents, coaches, and anyone who cares about improving performance. So that's just one of the reviews on here. Reviews from Malcolm Gladwell, and Sebastian Junger has a review on here too. He's the one that wrote Tribe. So great stuff. I'm still in the first chapter, but I think we, as though in the military, we were specialists in something, but we had to put on different hats, several different hats, right? Like you may have done something, may have been in the air wing, but at the same time, you were the SACO, or the substance abuse counselor, or the EEO or something like that. So you're double hat, triple hatted sometimes. So you have to learn how to manage your time. You have to learn how to just do different things, focus on different things at different times. So I think this book really speaks to like veterans out there who are trying to find what they want to do next, because we know a lot about little thing, a lot about everything. We may not specialize in one thing like a doctor, like a lawyer or something like that, and that's your whole life. But I think where we sit as veterans and we know a little bit about everything really goes, it works in our favor. So I can't wait to dig into this one here. Yeah. And Mo Perspective, you're right. I already had the book. I had no idea. And I didn't pay like $20 for it. I'm glad, because I was gonna buy it right on the spot. So I'm glad I had it, and I saw it. It was under a Jordan Peterson book that I have in the garage. I have another shelf out there, 12 Rules for Life. So yeah, Range. Definitely read it. I'm in my first chapter. Can't wait to dig into it.
And I got a little tool that might be right in line with that book. If you're interested in it, or anybody else is interested in it. We talk about changing careers a lot. Some people come out and stay in the same careers, and some people will come out and do completely different things, like myself. There is a tool, and it's been around for a while, but they've just recently updated it to include Gemini AI into it. So it's a little bit more comprehensive tool now, and it's a little bit more, excuse me, it's a little bit more in depth in what it does. But I got reminded of it this morning while I was reading through one of my newsletter things that I read through. It's called Career Dreamer. It's made by Google. I can drop the link in the chat if you guys want it, but basically you can go in there and type in like even your MOS. So if you wanted to grab some skills and stuff, basically things that you've done, and then take all that information together and then you can use the tool to kind of craft your way and to see like what other job opportunities or what other career paths might be available based on your skill set, your the hobbies, like things that you love to do, and all that stuff. You just put it all together, and then you can kind of like play with the tool and craft it and see like what are some other jobs and what are some things that I might have not have thought of and things like that. So I'll drop the link in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, that's good. Curious about that.
But that goes right along and side by side with that book you just mentioned.
Yeah, I love that. Mo Perspective says she's reading What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith. So far, so good. Excellent.
Nice.
Always good to connect with different different books, different authors and things like that. Now, one I was reading here, it's this other one. I picked up this small one from it was a library bookstore. It's called The Way of Men. I don't know how I feel about it yet. This guy is one of these, he does like those alpha male camps. I didn't know about it when I picked it up. I just thought like the cover looked cool. And then I read the back of it and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. So I kind of have it in my head now, like, hey, look, these alpha male camps where they take these dudes and then they put them through different tests and yell at them and stuff like that, whatever it is that they do. I'm trying to read the book without thinking about that, just to get the context of what he's trying to put out there. So, but it is very alpha male forward. So, yeah, I'm
like veteran camp.
yeah, kind of like that. Men only. So, yeah, they. Never mind. I won't.
No need. Don't worry. Yeah,
I was going to go on an Adam Carolla rant here.
Let me do that for you. I'll get that prepared for next time. Talk for 30 minutes about cinnamon.
Cinnamon,
nutmeg. Sorry,
cardamom.
No.
Yeah, nutmeg. Let me tell you about nutmeg. It's like, what do we even have nutmeg for? Just crazy. Good stuff. Great stuff.
Insane.
Yeah. So, John, I will say, man, for everybody out there listening, if you haven't already joined, we have on Facebook, we have the Military Retirement Group. Now, you don't have to be retired to be a part of this group. You can be a veteran. We have a lot of good folks on there. We're right about 3,000 members strong. It's a Facebook group, so it's free to join if you want, right? But a lot of good information on there in the files. Feel free to upload files if you like. And ask your questions, whether about life after the service, about life in military to civilian transition, things like that. It's called the Military Retirement Group on Facebook. What else do we have in it? I want to give a shout out to a few of our sponsors. So they're the ones that help keep the Green Logbook and Military Retirement Podcast going. First sponsor is Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company. They're looking for veterans to become franchisees. So Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company, go to drinkwildbills.com. Shout out to them. Shout out to American Fidelity Financial. So American Fidelity Financial, one of the biggest things that I had when I was leaving the service was, one of the biggest things I missed was getting life insurance before I actually did my VA disability. So, or my claim. So definitely get your life insurance in check. And, we're teamed up. The Green Logbook is teamed up with American Fidelity Financial. So definitely check them out. We have Movement Financial. I'm sorry, it's American Fidelity Life Insurance, not American Fidelity Financial. I messed it up. American Fidelity Life Insurance. We have Movement Financial. Josh Cantrell runs that one. He's a financial strategist. And he does great things. We have him on the podcast sometimes, and he talks a lot of good finance stuff, things that we're not experts in, we're not licensed in, but he is, so he can talk some good stuff. Oh, okay. So, yeah. And who else? Did we miss anybody else?
Nope. I think that's it.
That's it. All right. Navy Cop asks. Okay, so yes, let me address this. Navy Cop, how's that video on sponsorships going there, Vic? Just throwing that out there. That's great, dude. I'm trying. I've got like 5 different channels. A lot of them are not like active because a lot of them I just use them to upload stuff like family videos or regular videos, Marine Corps stuff. So it's coming, buddy. I might just sit there and do a live stream on it. I don't know, just to make it easier. But the idea here is I have another channel called Vic Learns Content. Okay, it's on YouTube, Vic Learns Content. And essentially, it's me learning the whole YouTube process and me being a person over 40 years old and how I do this though. Like, do this, what I use as a microphone for cameras, YouTube setups, going out and filming in public, finding places to film, different microphones, things like that. And I mentioned, hey, look, I want to make a video on sponsorships, how I was able to lock on these sponsorships, how I was able to do the contracts for these sponsorships, things like that. So it could be a very lucrative thing if you do it the right way. It could definitely potentially make more than what you're making in, oh shit, the light just turned off, what you're making per month on retirement. Oh, let me turn this on. But the idea here is don't rely on YouTube itself because YouTube will only pay you so much. So it is coming, buddy. I promise you, I'm just trying to find the time to get everything done because I still have videos I'm editing from podcasts, from interviews that I've had. So I truly appreciate you reminding me about that. Chief. Oh, he's got a military son in Italy. There you go.
Yep. Tell him to reach out if he ever wants to come to Sicily. Tell him to come on down. I'll set him up wherever he needs to be. Right here.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, I appreciate that though. I appreciate you being here. All of you, every single one of you. You really help us feel our sense of community, and I hope we in turn do some of that same feelings for you guys out there, guys and girls, to bring this community together, to build this community out, whether it's here, whether it's on Facebook, if you're listening to the podcast, watching the show live, or watching the show after it's already been taped, going back through the archives, something in there for everyone, whether it's Space A, whether it's listening to fellow veterans talk about their transition to civilian life. We appreciate every single one of you. And we also appreciate all the folks who are sponsoring our efforts as well and trying to help us keep the lights on, keep bills paid. Stuff ain't free, but we do it. We manage, and we do definitely appreciate every single person involved in this, from you in the audience to everyone else, our families, our spouses, our kids, everybody who support us in this. We are here for you.
You know what, John? I'm glad I didn't have to use this today because I was ready to fill it out.
AK-47?
No. Let me.
Today was a good day.
I had generated a page 11 for anybody who didn't come today. Counsel this date due to violation of Article 86, unauthorized absence. You were told to show up at 08 to the Military Retirement Podcast and simply disregard the order. Don't be the one. You can seek assistance by liking and subscribing to the Green Logbook and Military Retirement Podcast. I almost signed it. I almost filled it out, but I'm glad everybody showed up. So no need to put any administrative paperwork into your OMPF.
That needs to be on a t-shirt or a blanket.
A page 11 blanket.
Page 11 blanket.
There you go. Oh man, hell no. All right. So with that, yeah, it was great to share in some time, some camaraderie, some talk, and some coffee with folks out there. I'll be putting out more content here this week on the Green Logbook. And then, of course, every Sunday, I think we've been doing it for what, 2 years now? Military Retirement Podcast? Going on 2 years, maybe?
A couple years.
But almost damn near every Sunday for almost 2 years, we're here.
Yeah.
If you all want to connect and talk. Yeah, so it's definitely fun. It's definitely great to talk to folks and just have some laughs, man, and talk about what's going on in the world in the weeks, during the week, etc. So great to have everybody here. Let me see real quick before we get out of here.
2 years. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years, huh? Just about 2 years. Yeah. I remember sitting there in my cold ass garage doing this, right? It's like tucked in right behind the 73 Pontiac there.
Yep.
Chief, just give me grab my John. Page 11. I have plenty of those. Yeah, there you go. No need to worry about those anymore, right? Untrackable 5705. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. Who are we? Just us, I suppose, unless we are I. But unless I think we are us, then we are just we. Right? More perspective. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Thank you all. I'm good now. Awesome. And definitely get a hold of us. I'll be releasing some more videos on the Green Logbook. And with that, thanks for joining us out here.